so I might not be there, having a lot of chats in the group. But I am a silent observer and a listener, and I do go through a lot of presentations which are held. Sometimes I do it live, sometimes I go and do it offline, like whenever I get time. In the group, the most I know is like Kothari sir, obviously, because it's his group and he has, brought.
అన్ని
Sorry?
రోజుకు ఒకసారి చదువుతారు, ఒక చోట ఉంటాయి, ఏం కనపడవు ఇంట్లో.
Yeah, sure.
Go ahead.
So because Kothari sir has brought this entire family together, the next most known to me is Uma Shankar ji. So I had interacted with him many times in the past, and I have attended a lot of sessions around currency trading also from him. So even he has immense knowledge, like Kothari sir and Uma ji, because I know them personally. And apart from that, our entire FFE group is very much keen in dispensing the knowledge. So thanks to everyone. So I'll just begin my presentation. So it's around introduction only initially. So I'll give a quick background of myself. So I'm born and brought up in Mumbai. I completed my engineering in 2012, and after that I started working. So in 2016, so after that I started working, and I have worked in multiple cities. So that's about me. So then how I got introduced to the stock market. So in 2016, I switched my job. And when I came to a new company, in the induction, whenever they give induction, they introduce you to inflation and stock markets, because the company also has its own AMC. So that's why they introduce you, so that, you can invest through them and begin your journey through them. So that way, while I was switching my company, I got introduced to the stock markets in 2016. Next, then what all I have tried in stock markets. So I have tried everything under the sun which you can think of. So initially when I started investing through SIP in mutual funds through the same company which I had joined through their AMC. Then afterwards, I started digging into it a little more. So I initially started investing. Then it came to short-term trading. Then I also tried a few tips on Telegram. I have gone through like PMS also, I had tried once. Then I tried option buying, option selling. So whatever you can think of, I've tried it. I got stuck in pump and dump once or twice because when I was new and I came in, there used to be some SMS which used to come in, or somebody would call you, buy this, it's a tip. And when you make money, then you can give so much percentage of it. So once or twice I got stuck in that as well. So that way I have known everything about the stock markets. So apart from that, so currently I am working with the same AMC, with the same company still from 2016. I am on maternity leave right now. I have 2 daughters, like one is a 3-year-old and another is a 5-month-old. And since my husband was still having work from home, and and I was on leave, so we came to Karnataka at my in-laws' place. So that's why currently I'm in Karnataka. Once office resumes, we'll go back to Mumbai. And why I have selected this topic. So after trying everything, and after studying a lot around the markets, also I realized that there is something which is lagging. After knowing so much also, it feels that it is not helping. So I started digging around this topic a little, and then I thought, this is the most underrated thing, which should actually be the most rated. And whatever seminars I have attended in our FFE group also, I thought this was not touched upon a lot. So I thought I will, give this topic. Anyways, I've taken so much from the community. So whatever bit I know around this, I'll give it back to the community. And when you, study it for yourself, and when you study it for giving a presentation in front of a huge audience, it makes a lot of difference. So I thought, if I select this topic, I will deep dive more into it rather than doing it for myself. So that's why I chose this topic. So my name is Kirti. Earlier it was Kirti Menkudle. After marriage, it has become now Kirti Shivaprasad Hiremat. So we can begin. Language, so I'm comfortable with both Hindi as well as English. But yesterday when I was attending the session, I thought Kothari sir said that most of them are comfortable with English. So we can keep it English. If needed, we can switch to Hindi also at any point of time. And regarding the Q&A, so if you want, you can put it up in the chat section. We can take it then and there, or you can interrupt and ask it. If we do it slide by slide, I think for the Q&A, it would be better, because then if we move a lot ahead and if something behind is got stuck, it won't help a lot. So I think that would be a better alternate, taking Q&A slide by slide when we complete it. So yeah, that's about my introduction. Can we start, sir, or how is it?
सर YouTube पे भी स्टार्ट नहीं हुआ अभी.
Let
Yeah.
me see. You can start, don't worry. Okay.
Okay.
I started the YouTube also now. Yeah.
Okay, fine. So yeah, initially, the way I told you, I started investing through SIP, and then I came into this. So initially when I came and I, thought of doing some random trading on my own, and I lost a little, then I thought I will go through a proper channel. I did some seminars and webinars in the past. So they were a mix of both paid as well as free. So the first session I had was from a SEBI registered advisor, and it was around short-term trading. So yeah, so I started taking it as a business. So let's start. So we have heard like Nitin Kamath saying like less than 1% active traders beat the FD returns over a 3-year period. So I was just thinking on it, why is this the case? I pondered a little and then thought, in any field, if you select, the top cream or the top notch people would always be in the top 5%, So even for doctors, there are so many doctors, but you will have specific 1 or 2 doctors whom you would want to approach. So that's why even in trading, it is just 1%. So on an average, I feel that the best in any field are 5%, but in trading, it even narrows down to 1%, because here we can say there is a negative marking, or, whenever you spend your time in something, it's like you will either get returns or you will have 0 returns. But in trading, it is the opposite. Like you can make a negative return also. After investing so much of time, effort, money, everything, you can still end up having a negative return. So that's why the percentage is very less over here. And people feel like trading is easy because there is no barrier. Like if you want to get into IITs, IIMs, or anywhere, there will be a barrier. There would be so much of competition initially. You have to crack so many exams, then get in. After getting in also, you'll have to compete with so many. So there are a lot of barriers, and that's why you get a hang of it, that yes, it is very tough and you have to put in effort. But for trading, you just go online, you open an account, you put a buy sell button, that's all. You have some internet connection and you can start it. So that's why the seriousness of trading doesn't come for a lot of people. But yeah, we should take it a lot more seriously. Only when you start going into drawdowns and streak of losses, then people realize that we have to take it more seriously. So that's about it. So since I am a woman, most of my analogies would be around that. So when we want to cook, or we want to become a good cook, like if we read about it or we just keep listening to it, or even if we go and learn from somebody who's the best in the field, we can't be, right? Even if we are given a recipe step by step and we follow it, we end up getting a something different result rather than what it was intended. So that happens because the only way to succeed is like to do it, to practice it again and again. Rather than trying it on your own, if you go to somebody, what will happen is your learning curve will be shortened. Similarly, even in trading, like if you go, you learn from somebody, your learning curve will reduce. Rather than you paying fees to Mr. Market, it's that you go to somebody, you learn from them, you pay fees to them, and your learning curve will reduce. But yes, to be successful and to start implementing it on your own, you can be in their mentorship, or you have to do practicing, you have to keep practicing on your own. Only then you will succeed. So it is said that practice makes a man perfect, so we have to do that. And in trading, if there's one thing that I can talk about, like you have to preserve your capital. That's the only intention. Like you have to be on the pitch, you have to preserve your capital. You have to wait for those loose balls, when you'll go and hit the 4s and 6s. So staying in the game is very important. You can take it like as a test match, you can say, rather than a T20, because if you take it as a T20, then soon your capital will erode. And by the time you will realize, it would be too late. So that's what I feel. If you are in the game, if you, make small gains, when the market is in favor, that time you hit big and returns will ultimately flow. So that's my mission, like capital preservation. So I'll move on to the next slide. Okay, so what is trading? So these are the two graphs. Like if we say they are the graphs of a stock, like which one would you like to have it in your portfolio? Would you want the red one or would you want this blue one?
Blue one.
Blue one, yeah.
Okay, yeah, thanks. So yeah, we'll keep the session interactive. And if at any point you want to interrupt, you can just ask me the questions. So what if I tell you this is not actually the graph of a stock, but it's an equity curve of two traders, okay? So one trader starts from this point with this much of capital. The other one starts here with so much of capital. This fellow is very aggressive, like he's taking a lot of risks. So he will have, the moment you have a, mountain or a peak in your equity curve, it is bound that you are going to have a valley also. You cannot avoid it. So it's like if you are aggressive, you have, and you aim for higher returns, you have to be ready to take this higher risk also. This is an equity curve of one person. We realize he started from here. Finally, he has reached till here. This person is like a tortoise, who's slow and steady, and steadily he is growing his equity curve, and he has also reached at the same place by taking lesser risks. So I am more of this blue kind of a person rather than this red, because I cannot take a lot of risk, and that's the reason I don't target huge returns also. So this is me. And yeah, I just wanted to let you know, like risk and returns go hand in hand, right? If we want lesser risk, then people go for debt funds because there will be lesser risk. If you want higher risk, then you go for equity. So, even in strategies, you have to select it how you want it. And you have to be very clear from the beginning about what you exactly want and aim for. So with that, let's start. So I say like trading is a combination of arts, commerce, and science. For me, arts is like somebody who's very good at chart reading, the way we have Abhinavji in our group. So I might not know a lot of names. So that's why whatever names I know, I would be taking those. So like he is very good at chart reading. So, those people are good at arts. They can catch, or they can, sense what the chart is saying through naked eyes, even if they don't put up indicators and stuff. Then there are some people who are of a commerce kind of, or a mathematics kind of stuff, like they will work on probabilities. These people will mostly work in options, and even I work in options. I'm good at maths and stats, that's why. So these people will more focus on the probabilities and risk reward and other things, and that way they would want to earn. Then there are some people who are good at science. So what they will do is they will check how it has performed in the past. If they have any idea, they will test it in the back. Then it can be a manual testing through charts, or they will go to stock mock or some sites like that. They will test it, they will fine tune it. Then they will try to forward test it with a small capital, or one lot, two lots, or something like that. And once they are comfortable, they will deploy full capital on that. So these people are generally good at science, like they know how to correlate things, how it has worked in the past, how it will perform in the future. And basis that, then they go and develop an algo, and then they switch completely to system based trading. So I have tried, like I'm not very good at chart reading, so that's why I never go naked. Whether it is in cash segment or futures or options, I always go hedge, and I'm more of this commerce or maths kind of a person, so I generally work on probabilities. Even algos or system trading is something I tried, but I soon got to know that it's not for me. Like I cannot stand through the drawdown phases. So that's what I just wanted to say. Next, we would say, see, market information is always neutral, but it's the way we interpret the information and make sense out of it. So say, for example, if at any given point in time you go to buy a Nifty future or a bank Nifty futures, you will mostly see an equal number of buyers and sellers. Why is that the case? Because if somebody is thinking that the market is going to go up, there is somebody who's thinking it will go down. And that's the reason we have options and options premium also, right? If everybody is thinking that the markets will go up, there will be only buyers and no sellers. So it's always that the information is neutral. And whenever we are trading also, we should know, like, if we are sure that it's going to go up, there is somebody who's sure that it's going to go down. And that's why while entering, we should always have that at the back of the mind, that yes, it can go wrong, and what if it goes wrong. So that's why I say in trading, psychology, discipline, and money management, these are the most important things rather than your strategy. And we will see it going forward. Why is that the case? So one more thing, like initially, even when I started, I used to analyze it day by day, like whether I made a profit today or a loss today. But that's not how you take businesses, right? You will not see a very good businessman checking day in and day out what was his sales, how much was his profit margin, and things like that. So if it's a business, you have to analyze it over a month or a quarter or annually, something like that. You can't analyze it daily, and can't expect profits also daily. So this is about it. So any one has to give any inputs till now so far, or can we move ahead?
Okay, move
Go
ahead.
ahead. No, sure.
Yeah, and
It's good going. Yeah, it's good
okay,
going.
thank you. And
Good
if you ever,
presentation. Keep it up.
thank you. And if you ever feel like, I am going a little
No,
too
it's okay.
fast or slow, you can just let me know.
No,
Fine.
it's okay.
So we'll move on to the next slide. So how does a casino, or you have many games now where you can bet for cricket, so Dream 11 and stuff like that. So how they operate? So I have never played casino. Okay, I have just heard about it somewhere. So I will.
Kirti, I just wanted to add one thing.
Yeah.
See, I had just I am advocating that RDCS strategy, the reverse diagonal calendar spread. Okay.
Right.
Now that strategy also what you are talking, we have to have a patience. The problem is,
Right.
the problem is the person take the strategy and start monitoring his profit on everyday basis.
Right.
The
So I will
things
tell
will not work like that. You have
So
to have
I-
a patience. You have to
No,
give
so
a
I will-
time. Yeah.
Right. So I will tell you how I analyze, like correlated, right? If you take the Indian cricket team, we have 11 players. Like, why don't we have only one or two? Because somebody will have a good day at some point, somebody will have a bad day. Like, but if you make a good team of 11 players, somebody who's not performing, the other one would perform and make it up for him. So even when you are playing Dream 11, like you have to go and you have to select 11 players of out of whatever points are given to you. Why does that happen? Because everybody knows it's a team game. Like even if you go for RDCS, what you have to do is, like, you have to pick 5 or 6 stocks and you have to treat it as a team. Like one of it might give you 15% returns, other might go 5% negative, one will be at break even, other would be at 5% positive, and eventually it will even out. If you have selected good candidates, eventually it will even out. But you have to have faith in that. Like even if India wins 1 or 2 matches, it loses, that it's a good team, right? Even if RCDS, if you see, like if you win for maybe 5 months 3%, 4%, and 1 month you lose because maybe the market is bad, the pitch was bad, the conditions were bad, but you still have to have that faith. So that's the more important thing, and you have to treat it as a team rather than an individual stock or an individual person. So we will see more about it, the way we move forward. So I'll just give you one casino example.
कीर्ति कोठारी जी
Yeah.
की टीम में 14 मेंबर्स है.
Yeah.
हाँ, कोठारी जी करेक्ट नो? कोठारी की
right.
जो रिसेंट टीम है उसमें 14 मेंबर्स है.
नहीं उसमें मेरे को सबसे बड़ा इशू पता है क्या हो रहा है? सबसे बड़ा इशू क्या हो रहा है कि आदमी ने उसको बैटिंग के लिए भेजा और वो बोलता जाते ही छक्के मारना चालू कर दे, जाते ही 4 मारना चालू कर दे. अरे यार टाइम तो दो ना थोड़ा. मार्केट
नहीं,
कभी
सर,
नीचे जाएगा, मार्केट ऊपर जाएगा. गिव सम टाइम. अल्टीमेटली हमें पता है ये परफॉर्म करेंगे ही करेंगे. तो
रिसेंटली जो आपने जो टीम का सिलेक्शन किया इसमें 14 है, 14 है, आई रिमेम्बर.
Yeah, it's a 14 member team.
Yeah,
so out of the 14 you can
member
select 11. तो 3 को स्टैंड बाय में रखो, 11 को सेलेक्ट करो. लेकिन थोड़ा टाइम दो उसको, थोड़ा टाइम दो. इमीडिएटली मतलब मार्केट तो ऊपर नीचे होगा ना. तो जो ऊपर नीचे होगा तो आपको M2M लॉस थोड़ा दिखने लग जाएगा. बट अल्टीमेटली वो परफॉर्म करना ही करना है. बिकॉज हमारे हेजेज हमने लिए हुए हैं, तो
तो
दैट
ये
इज द रीजन द सेम
कीर्ति का और आपका ये एकदम मैच हो गया है। कीर्ति ने भी बोला एक दो प्लेयर्स आउट हो जाएंगे 0 पर, बट फिर भी दूसरे को
अरे
10 तो
इसमें एक
खेलेंगे
दो भी
ना।
आउट नहीं होंगे, उसको टाइम दो थोड़ा सा। मैं सिर्फ ये बोल रहा हूँ कि थोड़ा 10-15 दिन तो दो उसको, कम से कम वेट तो करो। ये थोड़े ना कि आज आपने लिया और आज शाम से प्रॉफिट चालू हो जाएगा, ऐसे नहीं होता इसमें।
It's always better to have a 5-day match in stock market rather than a 1-day match.
या वो थोड़ा वेट कर। या
In fact, Kirti, what you are saying is
Yeah.
is our individual experience also all around.
Right.
yeah.
Even when I started, you know, and when I started aiming for huge returns, and when you do that, you will have huge drawdowns first before the returns come in. तो वो जो पहले हमने equity curve देखा था ना, it will be like that. If you want to take high risks, then only you will get higher rewards. And as a newbie or you know, at a mid level also, you can't go that aggressive. You start slowly and then you can scale it up, like to take higher risks.
In fact,
I will just tell example.
हाँ.
कीर्ति जी मैं 15 साल रहा हूँ, and I've been only collecting pennies using the statistical edge.
Yeah. When initially I started, I lost huge, and then I started collecting pennies. I thought gaining huge, we will focus later on.
Now I am learning options from Kothari sir, and has come to RDCS now as perhaps one of the best strategies that could be applied actually.
Okay. चलिए.
So my experience, I will just tell 1 minute only.
Yeah,
मैंने short straddle का ये after this seminar I took one trade of ITC and पहले ही 2 दिन में वो लॉस में गया 4,000 5,000 और frankly telling मैं एकदम पैनिक हो गया। तो क्या करूंगा, क्या करने का ये नहीं। 2-3 दिन के बाद 2,000 प्रॉफिट में आ गया, तो इमीडिएटली आई एग्जिट। बट टुडे इफ आई मॉनिटर दैट ना, आज वो तो कम से कम 8-10,000 का प्रॉफिट था। तो पेशेंस इज इम्पोर्टेंट।
वही है, पेशेंस ही है,
पेशेंस है।
आपको अपनी स्ट्रेटेजी पे अगर कॉन्फिडेंस है तो आपको पेशेंस तो रखना ही पड़ेगा ना।
And Kirti said the same thing. Daily you don't see what is the value of it. तो थोड़ा सा ये पड़ता है अपने को, ठीक है। ओके, गो अहेड।
अरे मेरे को क्या खराब लग रहा है कि वो लोग एकदम से स्क्रीनशॉट ये डालना चालू कर रहे हैं ग्रुप के अंदर। अरे मेरे को 2,000 का लॉस दिख रहा है। अरे मेरा थोड़ा वेट तो करो यार, थोड़ा पेशेंस तो रखो ना। अब ये थोड़े ना कि आपने ट्रेड लिया और आज से ही प्रॉफिट चालू हो जाएगा, ऐसे थोड़ी मार्केट चलता है। मार्केट ऑलवेज गोज अप एंड डाउन एंड देन वी हैव टू बी रेडी विद आवर सेटअप। तो थोड़ा सा पेशेंस जरूरी है। या कीर्ति आगे चलिए।
वो यूट्यूब या फिर ट्विटर पे भी हम लोग देखते हैं, पीपल पुट इन लाइक 50% उन्होंने ROI किया। इफ वी जस्ट गिव इट अ थॉट, यू नो, अगर उनको इतना पता है कि आज ये 50% बढ़ने वाला है या ऑप्शन डबल होने वाला है, मतलब मैं होती थी और मुझे इतना श्योर होता था तो मैं 1 करोड़ का पर्सनल लोन लेके, होम लोन लेके उधर ही डालती थी।
वो सब बकवास है। वो कीर्ति जी, वो 100% वो फॉल्स है। जो आदमी आपको लाइक के लिए आपको रिक्वेस्ट कर रहा है, या जो आपको ये बोल रहा है कि मेरा यूट्यूब सब्सक्राइब करो, और दूसरी तरफ बोल रहा है कि मैंने जो है 10 लाख रुपए कमाया, ये दोनों में मैच ही नहीं हो रहा है ना। तो ये तो 100% वो जो है मैनिपुलेटेड आपके वो फोटोशॉप्स हैं। 100%। जितने भी वो आ रहे हैं कि साहब जो है मैंने 1 करोड़ कमाया, अरे 1 करोड़ कमाने के लिए आपको 1 करोड़ खोने के लिए तैयार होना पड़ेगा ना।
नहीं, और मुझे एक नाम याद नहीं आ रहा है ट्विटर पे, मैंने रिसेंटली देखा था। आई फॉरगॉट हिज नेम बिकॉज आई डोंट फॉलो हिम, बट उसने वो वेरीफाइड सेंसिबल का स्क्रीनशॉट डाला था। उसने 4 करोड़ का लॉस किया था एक दिन में।
अरे
मोर देन 4 करोड़
हो ही नहीं सकता, इम्पॉसिबल। क्या आपने को यहाँ 2 लाख का लॉस हो जाएगा तो लोगों को नींद नहीं आता है? आप 4 करोड़ के लॉस में
बोला ऑन डिप्लॉयड कैपिटल इट वाज 38% ड्रॉ डाउन। फिर उसके बाद उसने स्लोली 10-20 लाख ऐसे 2-3 दिन कमाया। देन ही मेड 2 करोड़ ऑन 1 डे। फिर 1 करोड़ का प्रॉफिट था उसका, एंड टिल नाउ ही हैज रिकवर्ड लाइक विद इन 10-15 days. So I don't know how true or false it is, but मुझे यही बोलना था कि if you have that huge drawdown, you should have that capacity to withstand it. You know, मैं तो next day बंद ही कर देती थी ट्रेडिंग।
नहीं, इम्पॉसिबल है। इम्पॉसिबल है कि कोई आदमी बोलेगा साहब कि मैंने एक दिन में 1 करोड़ कमा लिया, दूसरे दिन 50 लाख कमा दिया। इट इज जस्ट इम्पॉसिबल। दीज आर जस्ट स्क्रीनशॉट व्हिच वी कैन हैव अ फोटोशॉप करके आप जो स्क्रीनशॉट बनाए मैं देता हूँ आपको। इट विल टेक 5 मिनट टू मेक ए स्क्रीनशॉट।
कोठारी जी, ये पॉसिबल है?
क्या
ये
नहीं, उसने वो
पॉसिबल है,
verified
कैसे मैं
star
बताता
का
हूँ।
का
हाँ
loss
बताइए
था ना,
बताइए, हाँ
verified
बताइए,
डाला था screenshot।
एक मिनट, हाँ बताइए।
उसमें दो अकाउंट में ट्रेडिंग किया जाता है, एक में
हाँ
बाय किया जाता है, एक में सेल किया जाता है। अभी
अच्छा।
जो तुमको दिखाना है वो दिखा सकते,
अब क्या
तुमको
मतलब है लेकिन
ब्रोकरेज
ये
ही
सब?
देना है।
या दैट्स पॉसिबल, दैट इज पॉसिबल।
ऐसा है, ठीक है, थैंक
ओके
ठीक है, तो या वी विल जस्ट मूव अहेड। तो कसिनो में व्हाट आई हैव हर्ड, तो अगर वो एक डाइस होता है जो ऐसे गोल घूमता है, यू हैव टू बेट ऑन अ नंबर। तो से फॉर एग्जांपल अगर उसमें 35 डिजिट्स है एंड इट विल बी लाइक 17 वुड बी मार्क्ड एज ब्लैक, 17 वुड बी मार्क्ड एज रेड, और एक रहेगा उसमें सेंटर वाला नंबर 18 विच विल बी मार्क्ड एज ग्रीन। एंड हाउ दे डू इट, लाइक अगर आप किसी पे बेट करते हैं लाइक 100 रुपीज ऑन अ ब्लैक एंड इफ यू विन दे विल गिव यू 200, इफ यू बेट 100 ऑन अ रेड यू विन दे विल गिव यू 200, तो दैट दे डबल इट दैट way. And there is that one number which is marked green, उसकी probability बहुत कम है, because out of 35 it is just 1/35 is the probability for that. So if you bet on that and if you win, they will give you 17 times or something like that. Okay.
You are talking about Raleigh.
Yeah. So
yeah, Raleigh में 36 number रहता है, 0 to 35 रहता है. 0 is marked in green. Possibility is very less. Then 1 to 35 is there. 17, as you rightly said, it is black. And then the 50% probability is there on red and black, madam.
Right.
Like
so it's like what we think initially it is 50% probability, but we forget कि वो जो एक दो numbers जो उन्होंने side में निकाले ना, even that can come. और वो जब एक दो numbers आते because people don't bet on it, it's a very low probability, वो है जो casino का edge है. Whenever it goes to those two numbers, the casino is going to make money. So irrespective of whether you make money or you lose it, at the end the casino is going to definitely make money, and that's the only reason they are operating till now. तो उसको एक एकदम small statistical edge होता है, वैसे ही trading में भी हमें वही एक छोटा edge चाहिए in our system. So that's about casino. Now even in Dream 11, if you go, you check, it will be like you put up 25 rupees and there would be two players, and if you win they'll give you maybe 40 rupees or 45 rupees. So it is 25 into 2 is 50 rupees, right? They will give you 45 only if you win. So that 5 rupees which is remaining, that is their edge while you are playing that betting game. So ये जो भी चीजें हैं, whether you make money or not, whatever platforms are giving you those experiences, they are definitely making the money. And this small edge is called a positive expectancy. Like in our system, whenever we trade any system, the only thing we have to make sure from a system is that it should have a positive expectancy. Agar wo hai to, and you keep your money management proper, you will definitely make money in the long run. But if you don't have that positive expectancy, then no matter what you do, you are not going to make money. And we will see more about this in further slides. So, you might have heard from a lot of people, they say like trading is a zero-sum game. But you tell me, like, what do you feel? Is this statement true or is it wrong? Or what are your thoughts on it?
It's a negative sum game.
Right. I was coming to that only.
कैसे?
So I will
सर
tell
आपकी
you.
ब्रोकरेज और टैक्सेस तो जाते हैं ना, आप हारे या जीते,
हाँ वो तो है।
तो नेगेटिव सम हुआ ना वो।
तो इसीलिए तो ब्रोकर को सदा फायदा होता है।
हाँ, that's what.
हाँ, उसके लिए पॉजिटिव सम गेम है और हमारे लिए नेगेटिव सम गेम है, जीरो सम किसी के लिए नहीं है।
तो वो कैसीनो का मालिक हो गया और अपन सब लोग प्लेयर हो गए।
100% सर, 100% एज है।
अच्छा, इवन ब्रोकर से बड़ा गवर्नमेंट है। गवर्नमेंट इज द बिगेस्ट द पॉजिटिव गेम है।
हाँ सही बात है सर।
गवर्नमेंट को तो जाना ही जाना है, आप लूज करो चाहे गेन करो, एसटीटी मिलेगा ही मिलेगा, उसको वो टैक्सेस मिलेंगे ही मिलेंगे। या दैट्स करेक्ट। चलिए
एक ही मिनट है, जस्ट 1 मिनट।
और ऑप्शंस में तो सब लोग बोलते हैं कि इट्स जीरो सम गेम। इक्विटी में तो चलो फिर भी पब्लिक लॉन्ग टर्म इन्वेस्टमेंट में चले जा रही है, बट ऑप्शंस तो जीरो सम है ही है।
Right. नहीं तो it's like so what I asked is your loss equal to others gain? Okay, it will not be, because suppose you make, like you lose 100, somebody else is making that 100, but after losing 100 आपका brokerage taxes वो सब पकड़ के you lose more 10, so total you lost 110, उसको भी brokerage taxes वो सब 10 रुपया देना है, he will gain 190. So actually he has not gained 50%, like he has not made his capital double. तो वो जो दोनों के साइड से थोड़ा थोड़ा जो पैसा निकलता है ना, which goes to the broker, which goes to exchanges and other people, ये सब लोग हैं जो मार्केट मेकर है या फिर कसिनो ओनर्स है मार्केट में. तो इट्स नॉट अ जीरो सम गेम. इसीलिए जब यू नो व्हेन वी गेट सो मेनी एड्स अराउंड स्टॉक मार्केट इन्वेस्टिंग या फिर म्यूचुअल फंड्स, इसीलिए होते हैं कि whenever you invest in mutual funds also, वो एक आपसे expense ratio लेंगे, right? Whether you earn or not, but the mutual fund will definitely earn. So that's about it. They are the market makers, and irrespective of whatever happens to us, they will definitely earn, and that's the reason they are there in the game, right? वरना उनको समाज सेवा तो करना नहीं है कि वो लोगों के लिए पैसे लेके बैठेंगे बढ़ाने के लिए. They have this small expense ratio or this small edge also is so much for them that they are able to pay so many salaries, they are able to upgrade their platforms, able to keep so many people for customer service, and even after that they make profits, right? So we also have to think of this as a business, and we have to have that small statistical edge with us and a positive.
I want to add on the mutual fund one thing.
Yeah.
The most expensive celebrity in India today are the cricket players, correct?
Right.
Correct, huh?
उनके
And
कितने ads आते हैं?
सबसे ज्यादा एड म्यूचुअल फंड वाले अपने ये क्रिकेटर्स के दिखा रहे हैं.
Right.
अब मुझे बताओ इनको पैसा कौन दे रहा है?
नहीं,
Who is paying the money to these fellows? We only are paying the money that.
Right. And actually mutual funds का देखेंगे, there might be some big mutual funds who might be aware also कि अभी मार्केट गिरने वाला है या मार्केट बढ़ने वाला है, बट दे कैन नेवर टेक एडवांटेज ऑफ दैट, क्योंकि वो इतने रेगुलेशंस होते हैं ना उनको कि इतना पैसा ही आपको कैश में चाहिए, इतना आपको मार्केट्स में रखना ही है. If they have a huge stake in any company, and even if they know that the company is going to crash or there is some fraudulent activity, if they start withdrawing that much, वो withdrawal process में 20-30% वैसे ही गिर जाएगा, तो उनको निकालने में सेंस है ही नहीं. तो this is the most regulated and the most I feel kind of fraud industry, because even after knowing they cannot do anything about it, by the time they enter and exit only वो 30-40% का swing हो जाएगा. And even if they know market is going to fall and people are still giving in SIPs, they have to invest that money. They cannot keep it with themselves. तो ये बहुत बड़ा challenge है उनके लिए. Like even after knowing they cannot do anything about it. That's the way it works.
Kirti, one thing I like to say here, like this reverse diagonal calendar study, this is more suited for them because they know within 3 months how much premium they are going to get from their investors, SIPs.
Right.
And even if they know it is going to fall, they
Right.
take positions 3 months in advance.
Right.
Because regulations prohibit them to take action, prohibit them to take action 1 day or 2 days or 1 month in advance. So this is reverse diagonal calendar system. It is more suited to them.
Right.
It is okay for us. It is okay for us. But what happens? They make the maximum use of this sort of thing.
Right. So
म्यूचुअल फंड इंडस्ट्री का तो ऐसा बुरा हाल है बॉम्बे में कि मैं आपको इनसाइड बता नहीं सकता. How their managers, how their agents, how their employees, they take the money from the operator. You just cannot believe it. You just cannot believe it what is happening in Mumbai.
नहीं, वो एक्सिस का एंड ऑल फ्रंट
अरे
रनिंग का आया था.
इतना अंडरहैंड पैसा लेते हैं, इतना अंडरहैंड पैसा लेते हैं ये लोग ऑपरेटर से और उनको देते हैं ना कि भी आप अपन लोग सोच भी नहीं सकते कि ऐसा भी होता है क्या म्यूचुअल फंड इंडस्ट्री के अंदर.
वो होता है सर जिधर
ये कीर्ति जी जो आपको रेगुलेशन दिखाई देता है ना, वो रेगुलेशन ऑन पेपर है, बाकी जो कोठारी साहब बोल रहे हैं ना वो फैक्ट है. मतलब वो इतना मैनिपुलेशन है और इतना प्ले हो रहा है और ऑपरेटर्स इतना गेम करते हैं कि पूछो मत. सही बात है कोठारी जी.
यार मैं तो देखा है यहाँ पे जो बॉम्बे में हो रहा है.
बिल्कुल
I've seen के बाद they are doing it here. चलिए आगे चलिए. This is the whole different thing है, different game and we are on the public forum. चलिए आगे चलिए. चलिए.
आई थिंक मेरा 1 मिनट स्लाइड अटक गया है. ओके ये 1 मिनट. ओके आई थिंक नाउ इट्स वर्किंग. ठीक है. तो ट्रेडिंग में एक होता है लॉ ऑफ लार्ज नंबर्स. ओके, वी ऑल नो व्हेन वी टॉस अ कॉइन, या तो हेड्स आएगा या तो टेल्स आएगा. ओके, दिस वाज अ रैंडम स्टडी डन बाय समबडी. इफ यू जस्ट हैव 30 टाइम्स इफ यू टॉस और हेड्स, वहां पे आया था 67 पर, like 0.67 टाइम्स या 67% ऑफ द टाइम्स यू कैन से. फिर उसने फिर से 30 ट्रायल्स किए थे तो तक 0.43% ही आया था हेड्स का, ठीक है। सो इफ यू इंक्रीज द नंबर ऑफ ट्रायल्स, अगर 100 किया उसने तो इट वाज क्लोजर टू लाइक 0.5%, मतलब 0.46% आया था। फिर नेक्स्ट टाइम इट वाज 0.5%, नेक्स्ट टाइम इट वाज 0.58। तो वैसे, बट इफ यू मेक 1000 ट्रायल्स, अगर आप 1000 बार कॉइन टॉस करेंगे, then it would be like 0.51 या 0.50, 0.49. So what this states us is the number of the more trades you take or the more trials you do on a specific system, that time the actual probability which is there, that will be realized. If you take very less trades or very less bets, from that you cannot judge the actual probability of any system. So this is known as a law of large numbers in trading, and that's why they say कि आप कोई भी एक सिस्टम लेके उस पे एटलीस्ट 500 या फिर 1000 ट्रेड्स लो, यू कैनॉट जज इट बाय जस्ट 50 और 100 ट्रेड्स। तो आपने भी जो बोला ना सर, वो RCDS का वो भी ऐसे ही है, लाइक you have to have that large equation or the large number of trades, only then you will realize its actual probability. So this is known as a law of large numbers in trading. So if we still say like every trade, the moment you toss a coin, अगर आपने toss किया 10 बार heads आया, and 11th time still the probability of heads will be 50% and of tails will be 50%. So every trade, if you take it individually, it will always have a random outcome. But if you have a sufficiently large sample size, जैसे हमने casino के case में देखा था, if you have a sufficiently large sample size, then you will realize what is its actual probability, और उसमें अगर छोटा भी edge है आपके पास, then you are bound to succeed. So this is the law of large numbers. So this is an example of coin toss, which I just told you. So we'll move on to the next slide. So expectancy, I've been talking about expectancy. So what is expectancy? What is positive expectancy and how to calculate it? तो expectancy का हम लोग कोई expected value भी बोलते हैं उसको, EV. So expected value is equal to probability of win into how much you win on an average minus the probability of loss into how much you lose on an average. ये फॉर्मूला है expected value निकालने का. तो now I'll just give you one example, ठीक है? तो there will be 2 questions. You have to tell me which option you will select. अगर आपको 2 options दिए, whether you want, अगर आपको loss होने वाला है, you have 2 options. It would be a 100% loss of 10,000 rupees or a 95% probability of losing 12,500. Which one would you select?
Obviously 95%.
Okay. And similarly, we have for profit, like if you have a 100% probability of making 10,000 or a 95% probability of making 12,500. So which one would you opt?
100%.
Okay.
100%, correct?
No, so we will go to the next slide and see its, analysis.
No, what I suggest, other also to respond. I have selected the first 25 and second 100.
Yeah. So everybody can participate. Like loss के लिए आपको क्या select करना and profit के लिए which option you would select?
The probability.
Loss के लिए we will select 10,000 rupees. Or I mean 100%.
95% probability both ways.
Okay.
So we have a different combination that means. Okay.
Yeah. So we will go ahead.
I will select 100, 100 and 95.
Okay.
Basically, if 0.95 into 12,500 is more, then we select.
Right.
Are you saying that this was known when we were taking the trade? Like, we were initiating at that time itself, this outcome was.
No, Kirti, in both of them, you have a 5% probability of winning and not happening.
Yeah, so we can also say it is of winning or maybe it is of making, of breaking one, right? Zero.
Right.
So, okay. So I just, there's a little disturbance.
Wait a minute. Yeah.
So we'll move ahead. And we will also see if coin toss can be a profitable trading system. So these 2 things we will answer in the further slides. So this we just talked about. Okay, if there's a 100% probability of 10,000 rupees loss, the expected value is minus 10,000. But if there's a 95% probability of loss, so we use the same expected value formula. This is the probability of loss into how much is the loss and this is not a win because it's neutral, you will not make anything. So you see यहाँ पे आपका 10,000 जाएगा, यहाँ पे you will lose 11,875. And similarly for win, you will make 10,000 or you will make 11,875. So now we know that the correct answer for loss, it was having a sure shot loss, and for profit, it was taking that probability. But most of the people will do it other way around. So this is something, you know, जैसे trading में हमें जो चीजें बहुत obvious लगती है, they are not that obvious because that's a game of probability, and we have to focus on these minute things. So this is about it.
So that means
Now,
the correct answer is 100% in the first case,
right,
and the 95% in the second case.
right. But कोई ऐसे खुद से बोलेगा नहीं कि I will go for that 100% 10,000 का loss.
No, but here, because the assumption was that it's either 95% profit or 5% loss. If it is neutral, then the whole game changes and the whole calculation changes.
Right. So
Which
it was not
known, which was not known in the beginning.
Right. So yeah, so I just wanted to highlight key how we interpret it and how do we use the probability or the expected value calculations here. So we will see more about it going further. So now we will see a trader, 3 different traders.
So now what is your suggestion here?
No, so my suggestion was only that, so what we might think obvious in this case, for example, कि अगर sure shot loss है, so nobody will opt for it. But whenever you have anything, you just go through this formula, expected value का formula, and you will get an answer rather than assuming or rather than extrapolating things. If you just put in over here, you will get to know, and we will see it in मतलब आगे जाके we will analyze a few strategies and we will see their expected values and we will get to know like what we want to conclude from this. So that we will see going further. So now again I have here 3 traders. एक है 50% probability है आपकी, POP is probability of profit with a 2:1 risk reward system. It means whenever you lose 1 rupee. Whenever you make 2 rupees. So this is one trader. This is the second trader who is having a 70% probability of win on a 1:1 risk reward. And this is the third trader who is having a 25% probability of win on a 1:5 risk reward system. So what do you think? Who would be the most profitable or who would be the least profitable of this? Like you can arrange it from the order of least to most profitable, and you can use this expected value formula in this case.
आपने तो पूरा वापस कॉलेज पहुंचा दिया हमारे को.
50% probability वाला मैं चूज करूंगा.
नहीं, you have to arrange it like सबसे least profitable कौन होगा to the most profitable one. इन तीनों को you can arrange. और अगर कोई equal होगा तो that also you can just let me know.
Like in increasing order, right?
I will go third 2 and 1. Third 2 and 1. नहीं, third 2 and 1. Third 2 and 1.
Okay, so we will just go ahead and see क्योंकि वहाँ पे एक slide है, ठीक है. So this is the importance of risk reward and probability of profit. Now पहला जो हमने देखा था, he was having a 50% probability of success and his risk reward was 1:2. So this is the expected value EV जो हम लोग बात कर रहे थे. So this is 50%, reward is 2, so his expected value or expectancy is 0.5. ठीक है. Next जो था 70% and 1:1. So now we see this 70% guy with a 1:1 risk reward. तो उसकी expectancy 0.4 ही है system की. Okay, the more the expectancy, the higher is the profit. The lesser the expectancy, the lesser would be the profit. और अगर negative expectancy आ गई, मतलब it's a like losing system. It's not a winning system. ठीक है. तो second one was having an expectancy of 0.4. Now third one जो था 25% with a 1:5 risk reward. So now we see this is a 25% guy with a 1:5 risk reward. तो इसका भी 0.5 है. So what we got to know, जो पहला वाला था 1:2 risk reward वाला with a 50% probability, उसका भी 0.5 है. जो 25% था with a 1:5 उसका भी 0.5% है. So these two fellows are equal. और ये जो 70% है, but having a 1:1 risk reward, he is still lesser. इसका 0.4 ही है. So what I wanted to tell you through this is कि whenever we focus, most of the times why we run behind strategies, because we focus on the probability of profit. But there are two pillars to it. We have to focus on the probability of profit, and we also have to focus on the risk reward. Because the moment we bring in risk reward, जो 25% वाला person भी है, he is making more profits compared to a 70% winning system. So that's why this is having two, variables, you can say, and you have to give equal weightage to both of these variables when you go to select a system. So in that,
वापिस एक बार बोलो, what should be our risk reward and probability of?
Yeah, so हमने जो पहला, right, हमने जो पहला वाला देखा था, he was having a 50% probability and his risk reward was 1:2. So this is where he is coming. So उसका expectancy है system का 0.5. ठीक है. जो second वाला था 70% था उसका risk reward, but उसका probability of profit, but risk reward उसका 1:1 ही है. तो उसका expectancy 0.4 ही होगा. Using the same formula which we discussed. और तीसरा जो था 25% जिसकी probability थी, but that fellow is again having a risk reward of 1:5. मतलब उसका risk reward काफी अच्छा है. तो he is coming here at 0.5. तो जो 50% और 75%, जो 50% probability वाला है और जो 25% probability वाला है, both are having a 0.5 expectancy system. But जो 75% probability वाला है, even after having a 70% probability, he is still having just a 0.4 expectancy system. So,
sir, can I slightly intervene here?
Yeah.
We can take best example for these three cases as one as a straddle, second as a strangle, and third as a far strangle.
Right.
So these three cases can be compared in this case, wherein one will have very high probability of definite profit but less profit. One will have a medium situation, and the third will be in both ways it will be too high. If I am right, so you can compare these three cases for this case.
Yeah. No, so strategies I have actually जो undefined risk वाले strategies है, जैसे कि straddle, strangle, you can never fit in this formula. Okay, the reason because you don't know, the loss is unlimited, right? When you want to go for this expected value calculation, you need to know what is the approximate or average loss. So most of the times I don't prefer, and that's why I never go unhedged. Whatever strategies I take, it is hedged only, and we will take those examples going further. But through this, what I just wanted to highlight is when we run behind any system or any trader, what we only focus is the win rate. Okay, we often ignore this risk reward, but actually this is something which needs to be focused even more rather than the win rate. Because when you bring in the risk reward, the whole equation changes. A 25% probability system can also perform better than a 70% probability of winning system. That's why you always, can have this in front of you while you are designing a system also. And then you can just play with these two levers and decide like what is best suited for you. And going further, we will see more slides or, examples around this.
Actually, I have seen similar kind of statement by Som sir in one of the meeting. Someone was saying like the probability of win is less when he was showing a payoff chart. But Som sir was saying, no, look at the risk reward. Forget about that, he was saying.
Right.
I remember that.
Right. So that's what. So what I just wanted to say. So this is very obvious, like win rate. Everybody will focus on that. But ये जो चीजें हैं, like we often ignore, but they are also very important. And a few things like that only, which we often ignore, we are going to see how it can impact our system. So now
इसमें जो सभी एक मिनट कीर्ति जी, इसमें जो भी बाला ने जो बोला था ना, बाला what I said कि if we compare short straddle, short strangle and suppose RDCS, suppose you compare all these three. Now I want to comment कि obviously the probability of profit is highest in case of short straddle. There is no doubt about it.
Okay.
But at the same time, your risk reward ratio is not so favorable. But and then if you compare with the margin deployed, the margin requirement in short straddle is the highest.
Right.
Now, if we compare this strategy with your RDCS, where your profit is slightly less than the short straddle, but you have a very less margin requirement. So your risk reward is very good there.
Right.
So we may on the face of it, we may see that short straddle is very good. But if you compare with respect to your risk reward, then your RDCS is much better. Because the margin requirement is almost 50%.
Right. And whenever you go for any strategy, जब भी आप वो अगर उसको बास्केट में डालेंगे जीरो तक के या कोई भी यहाँ पे जाके, when you see the margin, that itself is the first hint कि वो strategy में risk कितना है. Why they are taking lesser margin? Because there is a lesser risk. Okay. Whenever the risk reduces or the margin requirement reduces, the probability of this probability might go down, probability of profit might go down, but then the average profit will always be higher in terms of percentage if you check. And in my case, I have what you can say, a good habit or a bad habit or whatever it is, but I never go naked. Like I'll go only for hedged option strategies because naked में बहुत सारे issues हैं which we will see going further. But I never go naked. Like going for naked strangles or something is very famous, right? मतलब पहले तो बहुत leverage होता था. People used to do it a lot, but it has its own drawbacks, and we will see it going forward.
Kirti, you are 100% right. You should never go this naked position because your margin requirement is so high. Margin requirement is very high, and you have a lot of tension there.
Right. Now,
always go for a covered option only.
Recently, if we check in the last 1 or 2 weeks, we have seen Bajaj Finance का gap down हुआ था, I think 5-6% कुछ opening में, and even Airtel recently मतलब I think almost 50 rupees या ऐसे कुछ correct हुआ था. So even with such good stocks who are in Nifty 50 and who are very well known to us, उनके साथ भी कुछ भी हो सकता है. So you can never underestimate कि अगर कुछ नहीं होगा. Like being positive is good, but being practical is even more important.
अभी Reliance में भी हुआ ना. Reliance also same thing happened. 2600 से वो 2400 330 पे आ गया. So that can happen. You are right.
हाँ, we should always know like worst case scenario में क्या हो सकता है, and we should be prepared for it. We should have a backup plan, like. So yeah, so this is what we just spoke about. Risk reward.
Here I would like to add for everyone's benefit, like sir, we have like so many strategy by person A, B, C, D. In the group also, like so many people keep giving strategies.
Right.
Scientifically and statistically, we should be able to rate, whose strategy is number 1, whose strategy is number 2, and whose strategy is number 10. If there are 10 persons.
Right. So
that also can be scientifically done. उसमें बस ये condition है कि you should have at least 100 trades because bigger the sample, better it is.
The better it is, right? You will
तो
get
आप अगर 100 trades आपके हैं, तो if you give me the result of every trade, कि first trade में आपने 1000 बनाए, second trade में 500 गवाए, तो I can rate and tell which is strategy number 1, which is strategy number 2, which is strategy number 3, and so on.
Right. And even if that is not required, मतलब हम लोग ना एक standard 3-4 option strategies लेके, I will just show you in Opstra how it actually works, and I know it will definitely blow up your minds. So we have few more facts going forward. So okay, so this was just that showcasing you. See, now when we spoke, a 70% probability अगर है किसी का, उसका expectancy 0.4 है, ये 25% probability होके भी उसका expectancy 0.5 था. But even the level of expertise will matter, right? अगर एक beginner को इतना कम probability वाला system दे दिया, he will not be able to stick only to it. क्योंकि as a beginner you need more wins rather than वो बोलेगा कि ठीक है थोड़ा कम profit आया तो भी चलेगा, पर मुझे ज़्यादा बार profit आना important है to boost his confidence and to get him to the next level. But if an experienced person, you ask him, he will always select this 25% probability wala because his psychology is that much developed.
वो emotional, otherwise emotionally वो disbalance हो जाएगा.
हाँ,
अगर उसकी accuracy कम होगी, चाहे वो profit 2 trade में कमा रहा होगा, but वो he cannot implement that in a long run.
Right. तो ये जो lower win rate वाले systems होते हैं, वो generally जैसे 50% से कम, तो जनरली जो एक्सपीरियंस ट्रेडर्स है, प्रो ट्रेडर्स है, उनके लिए सूटेबल है. बट जो न्यूबीज आ रहे हैं, दे विल ऑलवेज वांट अ गुड विन रेट सिस्टम. even if expectancy is a little less, वो थोड़ा कम पैसा भी बना देंगे तो चलेगा, but they have to have that feel, you know, कि उनका कुछ तो बन रहा है पैसा.
Normally, it is recommended that you should have a win rate of maybe 66.6.
Right. It's because mostly people will go for 1:1 risk reward, and then you have that brokerages and taxes. So net में आपको अगर profitable होना है तो you will always have to have more than 50% that way. और जितना आप नए रहोगे, it's better that you focus more on win rate. और जितना आप पुराने होते जाओगे, then you can focus more on the risk reward that you are going for. So yeah, so this was about our system. So now let's take the coin toss example again. तो हम लोग एक random trader लेते हैं, you know, अगर उसको heads आया तो he will win, अगर उसको tails आया तो he will lose, whatever he is, whether he is betting or he is trading or anything. And we will see कि इस केस में positive edge है या फिर expected value positive है या नहीं है. So if he is having a 90% probability of profit of having heads, you know, and he is winning 1 rupee whenever he is trading, and he has only a 10% probability of having tails or losing, and he is losing 10 rupees. तो इस केस में क्या होगा, 90% into 1 rupee, तो यहाँ पे उसको मिलेगा 0.9, but this is 10% into 10 rupees, तो यहाँ पे उसका 1 चला जाएगा, तो 0.9 minus 1, मतलब इसका expected value आएगा minus 0.01. ठीक है, फिर उस पे ब्रोकरेजेस और टैक्सेस भी लगेगा, तो इट कैन बी minus 0.15 या minus 0.2. तो ये वाला सिस्टम, इवन आफ्टर हैविंग अ 90% प्रोबेबिलिटी ऑफ विनिंग, it will still be an overall loser. Why? Because the risk reward is not favorable. तो option selling में कभी-कभी ऐसे हो जाता है, you know, you always make, so it is said that in option selling you eat like a chicken and you shit like an elephant. So every time you will collect those 2-5 rupees, even in strangles. Okay, most of the times you will collect, but एक दिन कभी सर्किट लग गया या फिर कोई पॉजिटिव न्यूज आ गया, नेगेटिव न्यूज आ गया, ऐसे कुछ हो गया, तो how much you will lose, you know, it will take away your entire 1 year of gain also, it can take away. So you have to be very careful in option selling. That's why they say that option selling is a kind of insurance business, right? So insurance भी करते हैं लोग, तो that's why whenever I do option selling, so after, you know, the way I told, I tried so many things. And after trying so many things, I realized that I am more suited for option selling. Other things don't suit me a lot. Even in option selling, if we see that as an insurance business, insurance companies भी backend में reinsurance करते हैं अपना. So even if we are doing option selling, we should have hedge. That hedge can act as a reinsurance for us. कि worst case में ऐसे कुछ हो गया, अगर circuit लग गया and all. See, for example, if you sell some ATM option in Bank Nifty, और अगर आप 1000 पॉइंट दूर जाके भी अगर एक ऑप्शन बाय कर देंगे, तो कितना भी 20% सर्किट लगे, 30% लगे, योर लॉस विल बी ओनली 25 into that 1000, which is 25,000. उससे ज्यादा जा ही नहीं सकता, even if Bank Nifty goes to zero, right? So that's why I always prefer having that hedge, which can act as a reinsurance. Because if you are going unhedged, you never know, you know, when things can go wrong, and this is probably true in case of bad events. मतलब खुशी में तो कभी सर्किट नहीं मारेगा कोई स्टॉक, but अगर कोई negative news आ गया तो it will definitely go for circuit. So we have to be very careful when we are doing the business, and I always go hedged. Here we have seen even a 90% probability of win. If there, the system can still be a failure.
Actually, hedge के साथ there are twin benefits. एक तो आपका risk कम हो जाता है,
right.
दूसरा return भी बढ़ जाता है, तो मतलब right. it is, you know, right. very strange. Risk भी कम हो रहा है, return भी बढ़ रहा है, तो everyone I feel should, you know, do that.
Right. बहुत सारे लोग, the way Kothari sir was saying, बहुत सारे लोग they fall for that, you know, absolute returns. But in terms of percentage, they don't go for it.
But absolute return also, I'm saying, if you are hedged, you get more because margin money is reduced.
Right, नहीं, absolute I'm talking, मतलब यहाँ पे अगर 10,000 आ रहा होगा, तो hedge के साथ आपका 2,000 चला जाएगा, तो it will be 8,000 only, right? So they will just look at that absolute number.
If you are considering the same capital, you will get more money.
That's what. Right. If you go in terms of percentage, it will be much better. But if you just check that absolute number, so people might miss on it. But I will always recommend to go hedge for the same reasons I just discussed. So this was about our system. Now this is an example which I have just taken to give us some statistics. So there are 3 slides of this. So this is a system which is having a 60% probability of profit. ठीक है, किसी एक ट्रेडर का सिस्टम है जिसमें 60% probability of profit है. Now when we talk about randomness एक सिस्टम के लिए, तो here it is showing like even after you have 20 heads in a row, okay, the next coin you flip, the 21st coin, even in that the probability of heads and tails is still equal, that is 50-50%. You cannot say that 20 heads आपको आए थे in a row, so 21th में probability tails आने की ज्यादा है. So this is not the case. So this we should be very much sure कि there is a randomness, and every trade is an individual profitable or a losing trade, but over a large sample size, जैसे हमने देखा था law of large number, if you analyze a sufficiently large sample size, then net to net आप profitable रहेंगे. But randomness is there, so at a stretch you can have a multiple losing streak. तो generally जैसे हमने देखा था कि अगर कोई आर्ट्स मतलब चार्ट रीडिंग से करता है तो उसको कैसे पता चलेगा कि अपने सिस्टम का विन रेट कितना है. तो यू हैव टू हैव अ जर्नल, यू हैव टू मेंटेन इट. आपका विन कितना हुआ था, लॉस कितना हुआ था, ऑल दोस थिंग्स, व्हाट वाज द कैपिटल डिप्लॉयड, एंड उससे आपको अप्रोक्सीमेटली पता चलेगा कि आपके सिस्टम का विन रेट कितना है, अप्रोक्सीमेट एवरेज प्रॉफिट कितना है, एवरेज लॉस कितना है और लॉस रेट कितना है. So if you have this, you can calculate the expected value and you will get an idea. मतलब ये उस केस में होता है जहाँ पे there is no set what you can say rules. जैसे अगर system नहीं है तो you have to have this exercise to know your stats. If there is a system, if there is an algo, right, you can always go on stock market, put up the conditions and you can check. वहाँ से आपको वो सब मिल जाएगा. उसका expectancy कितना है, average loss कितना है, average win कितना है. And even if, when you go for algo, अगर आपको पता है कि 25% उसका ड्रॉडाउन है, तो what they tell you is the actual capital plus वो 25% जो ड्रॉडाउन का है. या फिर बहुत सारे केसेस में दे बोलते हैं डबल द ड्रॉडाउन अमाउंट, लाइक अगर 25% ड्रॉडाउन है तो आप 50% एक्स्ट्रा रखो ऑन द एक्चुअल कैपिटल रिक्वायर्ड, एंड ओनली देन यू हैव टू एंटर दैट सिस्टम फॉर ट्रेडिंग. So this is that, like you should know your stats. Now for this 60% probability of profit, we will look at these numbers कि losing streak कितना होता है. 60% अगर विनिंग प्रोबेबिलिटी है तो ऑब्वियसली 40% आपको लॉस रहेगा, मतलब एक लूजिंग ट्रेड आएगा 40% ऑफ द टाइम. इन अ रो यू कैन हैव 2 लूजिंग ट्रेड्स 16% ऑफ टाइम्स, लाइक इन. सो इफ यू चेक दिस, आपको एट अ टाइम 10 लूजिंग ट्रेड्स आ सकते हैं, इसकी प्रोबेबिलिटी है 0.01%. So even if somebody gives you any 60% probability of profit system, you take trades. अगर 10 ट्रेड में आपको लॉस होगा, ठीक है, the probability is very rare, but still it can happen. And if you lose 10 trades in a row, will you have that guts to go ahead and take the 11th trade on the same system? Not right. But you should know these statistics. Then you will, so it's not about, giving any exam or anything, but it's about knowing this at the back of your mind, so that it will give you that confidence to stick onto your system, and it will give, let you know that even after a 10 losing streak, this system can still have a probability of 60%. So अगर आपका लक बहुत ही खराब है तो immediately after you enter, this drawdown phase can start and you can have a 10 losing trades in a row. But then you should have confidence in your system, and that's why it is said, whenever you borrow a system from somebody, how much ever profitable it is, you cannot run it, because you cannot withstand these phases when they occur in the system. That's why developing your own system is always advised, because you will know all the in and outs of that system. So this was about the losing streak. Then this is about the drawdowns. So हम लोग देखते हैं like 2 losers you can have in a row every 6 trades. So if you take 8 trades, 6 can be profitable, next 2 you can lose. So similarly, 3 losers in a row after every 16 trades you can have. 8 losers in a row you can have after every 1,500 trades. And this approximately they are giving what will be the drawdown if you lose those many trades. So यहाँ पे like it is telling us, like even if it's 60% probability of profit and you have these 8 losers in a row after 1,500 trades, there will be a 15% drawdown that can happen. So all these things you should know at the back of your mind, so that while you are allocating your capital, you can have a proper allocation. So this was just given here so that you know that whenever you trade algos, then this is the problem. Even if the success rate and things are very good, whenever this probability or the losing streak comes in, people give up on it. And actually, if you look at many of pro traders, who are working on algo, what they will advise you. So generally what happens is, if you win, you double your capital, or you whatever 50% you increase it, that time people will go and they will top up the capital in any system trade because they feel that it is performing good. But actually, whenever the system goes through drawdown, that is the time that you should go and top up on the system. So because that drawdown phase has gone and now the profitable phase is going to start. So this was just there, to give you some glimpses of actual what happens. Then what we just saw, losing streaks. Statistically, what you can do, you cannot do anything, right? They are going to happen. They are bound to happen with whatever system you have. You just have to manage your risk properly so that even in this much losing streak, you don't have a huge dent on your capital. Okay. And you should have a good risk reward system. So the way we saw that expectancy table, right? So even if you have 10 losing trades, you should make sure that they are offset by 3 winners. So that way you should have your risk reward defined properly. So if your winners are larger than your losses, and if you adhere to money management principles, you will get out of every losing streak. So this is just, it is telling you how to deal with a losing streak. The way Kothari sir was saying for RCDS. So never judge your trade based on 1, 2, or 3 trades. You should always look at a bigger picture. You should, have faith on the law of large numbers. And the more the sample size you have, the better equation you will get. You have to stay calm. You don't have to chase, or if you face a drawdown, you immediately go increase your position size. Or, if you are in profit, you go and increase it. No, that's not the way it works. You should have a proper position sizing, and you should have a same position sizing for a sufficiently large number of trades. And this is like every losing streak will end. So you have to have faith in your system. That's how statistics and maths will work. And if it's a positive expectancy system, at the end, you will definitely make money. So sometimes you don't have a plan only, right? If that's the case, then you will never, none of this will work. So at least you should have some plan while you are going. Because it's a business, the way we spoke, it's not gambling. So this is about winning and losing streak. So any questions on this so far?
No, it's good. In fact, what you have stated is perhaps what needs to be done, since you are looking at it as a business. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So yeah, we'll move ahead and we'll see more signs. So this is, the PNL of an unprofitable trader, and it used to happen with me a lot when I initially started. If you look at green days, the green days are much more in this case, right? But the profits are always capped. You see a little profit coming, you book it. The way we just spoke about, right? That ITC example. You see a little profit coming, you book it. If you see a loss, you just wait in the hope that it will recover. So losses are uncontrolled when you initially start. And 90% of your losses will always come from less than 10% of your trades. But if you go ahead and you want to be a profitable trader, you should always have your losses capped. So, you should decide like maximum 1% or 2% of my capital is what I'm going to bet on a daily basis. Irrespective of whatever happens. If that is hit, I will shut off my system and I will come on the next day. Because since you have already lost 1 or 2%, maybe you are not in the right frame of mind, or maybe the market is highly manipulated, or there are some other factors at play. Some news is coming, something is happening. So it's better to stop for that day and go back, because you will always have another day to trade, provided you have the capital left with you.
This invariably happen in case of future trading. Public book the profit in 2 rupees, 3 rupees, but when the future start losing, you go and hold the future, and it really goes down by 10 to 15%. This invariably happen in future. Yeah.
And this happens when you initially start, whenever, like, why do people get addicted to markets? Whenever you come, initially 2-3 times it will give you profit and you'll be very happy on the top, on the 7th cloud, 9th cloud and whatnot. And one day you will have that big loss, big dent, and then you will again start revenge trading. So initially you came for profit, then you are coming to recover your loss. And it's an inevitable loop. You get stuck over there. for what not reasons.
Right. Anybody want to share experience of this? On this, no, this is our psychology. Booking the profit early and then lose and the keeping the loss.
Psychologically also, sir, basically, हर एक आदमी का ego होता है. He cannot, face that loss. तो loss में वो hold करके रखता है. He hopes against hope कि अभी change हो जाएगा, तो loss उसका बढ़ता रहता है.
Right.
मेरे साथ
Sir,
तो
I
बहुत
would
होता
like,
था when I
I would
started.
like to add on this, sir.
हाँ, बोलिए.
ये सबका ही एक्सपीरियंस रहा है सर.
मेरा जो पहला दिन था, मैं ऐसे ही कुछ यूट्यूब देख के स्टार्ट किया था. उस दिन एक्सपायरी था, पता नहीं था. 2 रुपए का लिया, 5,000 क्वांटिटी, 4 रुपए हो गया. 4 में लिया, फिर 800 मीन्स उस दिन लगभग विथ मे बी 7-8,000 आई मेड 33,000. फिर मैं सोचा, अरे भाई जो काम कर रहे उससे इतना आसान है तो यही करेंगे, दूसरा काम क्यों करना. तो मार्केट क्या है सर, पहले स्टार्टिंग 10% सबको बुलाती है, आओ.
वो बिगिनर्स क्लब बोलते हैं उसको, बिगिनर क्लब.
मैं ऐसे ही सर कार चला रहा था, सिग्नल पे था तो देखा 2 रुपए है, तो क्या है 2 रुपए में क्या आता सर, चाय भी नहीं मिलता आज. तो मैं दनादन स्वाइप कर दिया. आधा घंटा मेरा डेस्टिनेशन था, उधर पहुंचा, पैंट में से मोबाइल निकाला, देखा अरे भाई डबल हो गया, स्वाइप कर दिया. मीन्स इट लुक सो इजी व्हेन यू नो नथिंग. और मैं बोल रहा हूँ ना सर, मेरा 5,000 10,000 का क्वांटिटी था. आज अगर 5 लॉट लेने में भी आज हाथ कांपते हैं, क्योंकि अपने को क्या है, लर्निंग मिल गया आज. जब पता नहीं था ना सर, सब अच्छा ही लगता, एवरीथिंग इज स्वीट. सिर्फ बिफोर मैरिज एवरीथिंग विल नाइस, बट आफ्टर मैरिज यू नो.
Right.
So one thing I would like to say, I've been listening this podcast from the starting. So Kirti ji is telling like मैं थोड़ा, मेरा नॉलेज है, मेरा जितना नॉलेज है मैं बोल रहा हूँ, बट आई एम फीलिंग लाइक आई वुड लाइक टू अप्रिशिएट हर दैट उन्होंने खुद जो लर्निंग लिया, जो पेन लिया, और जो भी उनका जो क्या है सर मेंटल साइकोलॉजी था, उसमें से वो बाहर आके नाउ शी इज कमिंग फॉरवर्ड टू एजुकेट ऑल ऑफ अस हु हैव बीन थ्रू दिस. मींस आई रियली अप्रिशिएट हर. लाइक उनका एक्सपीरियंस तो मेरे को कम नहीं लग रहा सर, जो कम टाइम में ज्यादा एक्सपीरियंस लिया उन्होंने. एंड वेरी वेरी थैंकफुल टू कोठारी सर फॉर ऑर्गेनाइजिंग दिस.
तभी तो मैंने बोला था ना कि लेटर लिसन फ्रॉम अ लेडीज मेंबर आल्सो, कि उनका थॉट प्रोसेस क्या होता है. हम लोगों का थोड़ा अलग थॉट प्रोसेस चलता है. तो
100%. तो मैं वही सर, मैं सुन रहा था स्पीकर पे, तब मैं मेरे वाइफ को बोला, अरे देखो यार, तुम बोलते हैं हमेशा आप सिस्टम वो क्या मोबाइल देखते रहते देखो. सी वी हैव टू अप्रिशिएट कमिंग आउट ऑफ द ब्लू. इट इज नॉट इजी फॉर सी मदर ऑफ 2 kids. उतना आसान नहीं है ना.
And she is very well presented. In fact, very nicely presented, and with great depth actually.
ऐसा नहीं है कि any moment, any second we didn't feel that ये कुछ ऐसा ड्रामा बाजी चल रहा है या कुछ प्रिपरेशन चल रहा. मीन्स जो भी है बोल के मेरे को, ठीक है मैं बोलने के लिए आया, मेरा काम हो गया, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. शी इज वेरी ओपन एंड शी इज वेरी पेशेंट. जो भी आगे से कमेंट्स आ रहे, जो भी आ रहे, शी इज एक्सेप्टिंग एवरीथिंग बिकॉज शी इज टेलिंग द रियलिटी. ऐसा कुछ स्क्रिप्टेड नहीं है ना सर. ये जो मार्केट में सबके साथ हो रहा, उनके साथ हुआ, आपके मेरे साथ हुआ, इसलिए हम लोग आज ये लाइव पे जुड़े. अगर सर पहले स्वाइप से सब प्रॉफिटेबल थे तो हम क्यों सुनेंगे सर ये पूरा.
एक्चुअली एक आम आदमी सर अपनी एक्सपीरियंसेस से लर्न जनरली करता नहीं है. बट शी हैज captured all the lessons from her experiences, so that is very good part of her.
100% and so composed and like जो भी बोला ना सर, ऐसा क्या है, प्लेट में खाना मिला के स्पून लेके मुंह में लगा रहा, ऐसा लग रहा मेरे को तो, क्योंकि क्रिस्टल क्लियर. ऐसा नहीं है कि लाइक इसको अपन भूल जाते, क्योंकि वो सबके साथ हुआ है. एंड व्हेन वी थिंक अरे भाई मेरे साथ हुआ, उनके साथ भी हुआ है, विल गेट मोर कॉन्फिडेंस एंड विल बी मोर कॉशियस डूइंग ऑल दिस ओवर ट्रेडिंग, या जो भी हम पहले से जो कर रहे थे ना, उसको ना करने के लिए ये बात पूरा अपना कान में गूंजते रहता हम लोगों को.
सर मैडम को जरा कंटिन्यू करने दीजिए वो.
या श्योर, आई एम डन. थैंक यू.
So it happened with me and it does happen with everybody. The only thing is, like, whenever we go through these things, we should learn from our mistakes and move forward. Agar learning nahi hai, like if we don't journal, we don't learn, then there is no point, right? This loop will keep on happening. But if we journal, like I have started journaling from some time now, And I think that improves your trading a lot, because you know where you are going wrong. Like even if you have a lot of winners, what is it that you are not profitable in net? So only when you journal, you analyze, you will get to know about it. So this is what we just say. Now this is the next slide. Now we have a trader, and this is like how much he has won or how much he has lost. Okay, तो हमने जब देखा था पीछे कि लॉस डिफाइंड है, ठीक है, तो ही हैज केप्ट हिज लॉस डिफाइंड कि 1 आवर ही रहेगा मेरा, कुछ भी रहेगा. whenever it hits 1 hour, say for example if I am trading with 10,000, whenever it hits 1,000 I am going to get out. Profit तो we cannot control क्योंकि वो मार्केट के हाथ में, right, how much it will go in your favor. तो उसने विनर्स को कैप नहीं किया है, उसने लूजर्स को कैप कर दिया है अपने. एंड टोटल इफ यू कैलकुलेट, विन उसका 8.7 आवर होगा, लॉस 5 आवर होगा, एंड इन द नेट इट इज 3.7 आवर. So what do you think? Is he a profitable trader or he is not a profitable trader?
He's a profitable trader.
Okay,
Profitable
so
trader.
right. So if we assume that his sample size or the capital deployed is same in every trade, he will definitely be a profitable. But even this trader can be a net loss making trader, and we will see that how in the next slide. ठीक है, तो फर्स्ट ट्रेड ही बेट 1% का रिस्क लेंगे, ही मेड 2% हो गया उसका लाइक टोटल PNL. तो देन नेक्स्ट ट्रेड पे वो एक्साइट होके उसने डबल ले लिया रिस्क, ठीक है, ही लॉस्ट, तो -2% हो गया. तो वैसे यहाँ पे उन्होंने दिया है कि रिस्क उसने अनइवन लिया है, ठीक है, तो उसका रिवॉर्ड भी ऑब्वियसली अनइवन आएगा. टोटल PNL यहाँ पे आया है, एंड देन इफ वी कैलकुलेट total, it will be -3.35% if you just add it up everything.
But I think
So,
there is some
what do you mean?
disconnect here.
What do you mean by uneven risk?
रिस्क यहाँ पे उसने 1% बेट किया. से फॉर एग्जांपल उसने एक लॉट लिया 1% रिस्क के लिए.
अच्छा अच्छा.
यहाँ पे उसने 2 लॉट्स लिया होगा, इसलिए 2% रिस्क. या ऐसे भी हो सकता है कि विद सेम 1 लाख यहाँ पे उसने सोचा कि मैं 1% ही रिस्क लूंगा, ठीक है, बट उसको 2 आवर आ गया. नेक्स्ट टाइम उसने सोचा कि यार 2% रिस्क ले लेते हैं ज्यादा प्रॉफिट के लिए, या फिर होप में वो बैठा रहा, तो 2% रिस्क लिया उसने दैट वे. तो अगर रिस्क आप अनइवन लेते हो, तो इवन इफ दिस इज द केस,
then you should say risk की जगह capital, percentage capital used rather than using the word risk use.
No, it can be risk also. Like for example, आप वो एक ही लॉट रखो, ठीक है, बट फर्स्ट टाइम आप कैप करोगे कि मैं 1% लॉस रखूंगा, बट सेकेंड टाइम आपने सोचा कि अभी 2% बना लिया, छोड़ो 1% क्यों, मैं 2% का रिस्क लेता हूँ, राइट, विद द सेम कैपिटल यू टेक अ 2% रिस्क एंड यू लूज. तो
नहीं कीर्ति नहीं समझा ये
नहीं समझा.
वन एग्जांपल यू कैन टेक इट, कंसीडर दैट आई एम हैविंग
नहीं, आपको जो पुराना वाला जो था ना, पुराना वाला साइड दिखाई देखिए आप. हाँ, उसमें आपने क्या किया है, उसमें अब यू हैव केप्ट द सेम रिस्क हियर, सेम कैपिटल हियर,
1% रिस्क, सेम कैपिटल एवरीवेयर, वी विल अज्यूम रिस्क 1% ही है सब जगह पे, ठीक है. तो 1% रिस्क है, और यहाँ पे उसको 2% रिवॉर्ड मिला, 2.5% मिला, 0.8% मिला, ठीक है. तो वही चीज यहाँ पे भी लिखा हुआ है, ठीक है. सो इफ यू जस्ट इग्नोर दिस रिस्क परसेंटेज और ये आप देखोगे, तो दिस इज द सेम व्हाट वी हैव सीन ओवर हियर.
अगर रिस्क रिवॉर्ड सेम है तो वहां पे कैपिटल होगा,
मैं वही बता रहा हूं, कैपिटल उसने बढ़ा दिया, कम कर दिया ना.
नहीं, व्हाट आई एम सेइंग इज, फॉर एग्जांपल आप कैपिटल भी सेम रखो, ठीक है, अगर 1 लाख का कैपिटल है, बट यहाँ पे वो 1% जैसे सपोज
रिस्क टू रिवॉर्ड रेशियो व्हाट यू
नहीं, मैम ने सही बोला है. अगर यहाँ पे रिस्क उसने 2 रुपीस का लिया तो 2 रुपीस रिवॉर्ड के लिए जा रहा है, ठीक है, ठीक है.
नहीं, व्हाट आई वाज सेइंग,
रिस्क रिवॉर्ड रेशियो इज सेम 1 to 2, but risk is 2 rupees, then reward is 4 rupees. He is going for 4 rupees. That's right.
Okay.
Right. So it's like initially, say even if it's an option selling, right? पहले अगर 1% के लिए suppose you start with 1 lakh capital, 1 lakh के लिए and you go for Nifty, 1 lot only, 1 lot of Nifty, तो 20 points में it will be what, 1,000 rupees, right? 20 points में 1,000 means it's a 1% risk. तो आप सोचोगे कि ठीक है, अगर 1% में रिस्क के लिए रुकूंगा, नेक्स्ट टाइम व्हाट हैपेंस कि 20%, मतलब वो 20 पॉइंट्स उड़ गए, यू आर स्टिल वेटिंग, एंड 40 पॉइंट्स का लॉस हो जाता है आपका, राइट, विद द सेम कैपिटल. तो दैट इज अ 2% रिस्क. If you wait for 30 points of loss, it is a 1.5% risk. Is it making sense?
Yeah, it's very easy to understand. Yeah, I think we can go ahead and move further.
नहीं भी काफी लोगों को समझ में नहीं आया है विकास जी, काफी लोगों को नहीं समझ में आया है।
नहीं
सर ये
सर कैपिटल बढ़ाना एक वो वेरिएबल है व्हाट शी इज सेइंग, और दूसरा शी इज सेइंग कि कैपिटल सेम रखो, तो आपने दूसरे ट्रेड में 1% की जगह 2% रिस्क ले लिया।
हाँ राइट, तो मैं क्या बोल रही थी,
दो वेरिएबल्स हैं, एक तो आपने कैपिटल चेंज कर दिया तो उसमें फिर प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगी जो ये अभी स्लाइड दिखा रहा है, और दूसरा है आपने कैपिटल सेम रखा और रिस्क अपना पहले 1% ले रहे थे, आप बोला मैं 2% रिस्क लूंगा, तो भी आपका ये रिस्क रिटर्न फाइनल पीएनएल लॉस में लैंड कर सकते हैं।
और इस केस में भी रिस्क रिवॉर्ड सेम है 1:2 मींस अगर 2% रिस्क ले रहा है तो ही इज गोइंग फॉर 4% रिवॉर्ड।
राइट रिस्क रिवॉर्ड सेम है,
रिवॉर्ड तो एज इट इज शी इज सेइंग इट इज मार्केट इज गिविंग रिवॉर्ड, रिवॉर्ड इज नॉट फिक्स्ड।
Okay, so what I
reward is not fixed. It is not double the risk. Reward is given by the market in this example.
Right, in both the examples. Right. So I will just show you once again. So this, you see this 2R, 1R, 2.5R, 1R, 1R. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे it is the same. तो ये वाला टेबल वही है जो पिछला वाला टेबल था अपना, ठीक है. If you add this everything up, you will still get this 3.7R पॉजिटिव, ठीक है. अगर इसको आप ऐड कर दोगे तो इट इज प्लस 3.7R. नाउ ओनली थिंग व्हाट आई एम सेइंग इज कि उसने रिस्क अपना चेंज कर दिया, मे बी उसके मूड के हिसाब से चेंज किया या फिर होप की वजह से वो एक्स्ट्रा रुका, तो उसका रिस्क सिर्फ उसने चेंज किया. रिस्क रिवॉर्ड इज
and ma'am, the sequence of win loss remains the same.
राइट, सीक्वेंस ऑफ विन लॉस इज द सेम. सो यहाँ पे जो भी है 2R 1R, ठीक है, दिस एंड दिस, these two are the same tables. सिर्फ
2% रिस्क का क्या मतलब है? अभी आपने 2% रिस्क लिया, का क्या मतलब है? मतलब व्हाट डू यू मीन बाय 2% रिस्क?
I think what let me try to understand this and explain. जो previous slide में है, that is a risk reward. So one risk का 2 reward.
Okay.
ठीक है, so that's what we're seeing in the previous slide. But when we are, assigning the percentage of risk that we take, that is what is uneven. So, for example, if I'm deploying a capital of 1 lakh and I'm taking a risk of 1%, my risk is capped at 1,000.
Okay.
But on the second trade, although my risk reward, I'm still maintaining 1:2, or more. But I'm taking a bigger risk of 2%. So I'm putting 2,000 rupees at stake on the same 1 lakh capital.
Okay, can I say something, sir?
Basically, I think what is happening is in the first one, in the second trade, you are exiting when the loss is 1%. In the second example, you are exiting, it is still a loss situation, but you are exiting after a 2% loss.
Right. So
that's the fundamental distinction, because capital remains the same. Capital remains the same in both the cases. Sequence of win-loss remains the same.
Yes.
Only thing, how much you will wait before you exit on a loss is changing.
That's right. And the reward has got nothing, risk reward mein here, the reward is given by the market. You're using subsystem where, reward can be very high also, can be low also. So risk reward ratio is not defined in this example. Kirti, if you can correct me.
Right. Risk reward is not defined even in this or the previous example, because the way we said, right, in this.
But risk is very clearly defined कि 1% मैं लूँगा. But in the second slide, ये भी आदमी है and he's changing his risk. तो gain वाले trade में उसने 1% risk लिया और loss वाले trade में 2% risk लिया, तो उसका PNL
So, okay, so I was coming to the same thing. So what I'm saying is, अगर you can just spend some time on this slide, ये जो भी है, if you add it up, ठीक है, ये वही है जो पिछले वाले टेबल में हमने यहाँ पे देखा था. If you just add everything, it will be plus 3.7R, ठीक है, जो हमने पिछले वाले एग्जाम्पल में देखा था. तो he is clear कि मैं 1R का रिस्क लूंगा and my reward will be whatever market gives, and the reward is same जो यहाँ पे मिला था. Now only thing that changes is कि उसने उसका रिस्क चेंज कर दिया. अगर उसने रिस्क चेंज किया, then you add this into this. Okay, 1% into 2R, it will be 2%. सो अगर यहाँ पे 1% ही होता था और 1 आवर होता था तो इट वुड बी 1% ओनली, जैसे पिछले वाले एग्जांपल में हमें दिखा. बट सिंस ही हैज मेड इट 2%, व्हाई? बिकॉज ही इज एक्सपेक्टिंग अ रिवॉर्ड ऑफ 4%. तो इसीलिए उसका लॉस 2% हो गया. सो दिस इज द सेम व्हाट वी सॉ इन द प्रीवियस स्लाइड. नाउ दिस रिस्क इनटू दिस आर पर ट्रेड, इफ यू जस्ट मल्टीप्लाई इट तो एक्चुअल पीएनएल आपका ये आएगा. एंड देन यू सी कि ये प्रॉफिटेबल जो सिस्टम है, बट आपने अगर बेट अनइवन लिए, लाइक इफ यू कीप योर रिस्क अनइवन, देन a profitable system can still be a loss making system. So it is giving this as an example.
Basically take away ये है कि अपना कैपिटल और अपना रिस्क बीच बीच में चेंज ना करो,
right.
let it run for some time.
Right. Even with a good risk reward, good expectancy, सब कुछ आपने मैनेज कर दिया, बट अगर आपने अनइवन बेट लिए तो यू आर स्टिल गोइंग टू लूज. वो ऐसे ही है कि फॉर एग्जांपल जैसे हेड्स टेल्स का हमने एग्जांपल देखा, राइट? तो आपने अगर 100 रुपया बेट किया, यू विन, आपको 200 मिल गया. फिर आप सोचोगे अभी 200 आ गया, चलो मैं 200 बेट करता हूँ, बट यू लूज, तो वो 200 चला जाएगा. एक्चुअल में आपने एक बार जीता, एक बार हारा है, राइट? सो यू शुड बी एट ब्रेक इवन.
Basically take away ये है, even a good system you can spoil if you are not consistent.
Maintaining the proper risk reward, or you are maintaining the equal risk, or even if you are not maintaining the equal number of lots. So this you can just spend some time. अगर कुछ रहेगा तो we can again come back on this slide. You just compare it with the previous slide. It is still the same. It is just that ये risk और ये R को हमने multiply किया है, and this is the actual P&L that is coming.
This is actually called random trading.
Right. And
Very,
even
very
if it is
revealing.
a system, even if it is a system, but you are taking uneven bets.
Exactly. Yeah.
ऐसे भी हो सकता है कि सपोज आपके पास मल्टीपल अदर सिस्टम्स है, राइट? आपको लगा कि अरे मुझे दूसरी जगह से 5000 आ गया है, चलो ये 5000 बेट कर देते हैं ये वाले सिस्टम पे, दैट वे. तो इसीलिए आपका रिस्क अनइवन हो गया यहाँ पे. या फिर आप बहुत रिवेंज ट्रेडिंग में जा रहे हो, तो यू से ओके लेट मी वेट अ लिटिल मोर इन होप, तो आपका रिस्क बढ़ गया दैट वे. So this is still the same. If you add everything in the second R per trade, it will be plus 3.7 R. But if you take uneven risk and you multiply both of these, तो आपका ये P&L change हो जाएगा यहाँ पे, and it will become a loss-making system. So this is the same. Don't take uneven risks.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we will go to which hedged option strategies do you use. Whether it's a debit spread, a credit spread, iron condor, iron fly, these are mostly which are widely used, and then we have some others also. So now let's just go to Opstra and check this what we are talking about, the slides. So I will just तो Opstra में also there is a place जहाँ पे आपको ready-made strategies मिल सकती है. You don't have to go and create it every time. So we will just go to ready-made strategies and we will see. I will just open an Excel for our benefit. जो हम लोग बोल रहे थे सिस्टम के बारे में या फिर पॉजिटिव एक्सपेक्टेंसी के बारे में, and we can just check this. तो यहाँ पे जाते हैं. ओके, तो यहाँ पे निफ्टी दिखा रहा है एंड इट इज शोइंग एन एक्सपायरी ऑफ 25 Jan, दैट इज द मंथली एक्सपायरी. ठीक है. नाउ लेट्स गो अहेड एंड लुक एट सम फेमस हेज स्ट्रेटजीज. अनहेज में हम लोग नहीं जाएंगे बिकॉज वी हैव टू फिल दिस टेबल. वेयर इज इट? Okay, when we have to fill this table, we have to also give it a approximate loss amount, right, which we will not be getting. That's why we will check only for hedge strategies. तो अगर हम लोग स्प्रेड में जाएंगे, let us, तो हम लोग क्लिक करेंगे and whatever comes by default जो Opstra बना के दे रहा है, we will take that only spread. तो call spread में if we go for a buy, ठीक है, so it will become a debit spread. So I will just take values from here कि debit spread में my probability of profit is this much. So I am just entering here. Probability of profit इतना है. Then my max profit is this much. Profit amount. ठीक है. Then I will see what is the probability of loss will be 1 minus this much.
Equal to.
Yeah. So this is my probability of loss. And what is the approximate loss amount? This. So I'll just put this. ठीक है, तो ये हमने डेबिट स्प्रेड के लिए देखा. Now we will see this for a credit spread. We'll just save it. आगे जाके हमें कुछ करना पड़ा तो. ठीक है, ये डेबिट स्प्रेड हो गया. Now we will reset this and we will again click on spread. वही है, सिर्फ instead of buy we will click on sell. तो ये credit spread बन जाएगा because we are selling a higher premium and buying a lower one. तो credit spread में now this is the probability of profit. Why is this coming?
इसको फॉर्मेट सेल्स करके परसेंटेज वाला सेटिंग हटा दो, हो जाएगा.
एक मिनट.
राइट क्लिक करके फॉर्मेट सेल्स करके. नहीं, पूरे को मत करो ना, आपको खाली परसेंटेज वाले को ही करना है ना. सिर्फ परसेंटेज वाली कॉलम कीजिए. हाँ, राइट क्लिक कीजिए और यहाँ पे नंबर्स में जाइए. हाँ, नंबर, जनरल के नीचे नंबर. बस आपको बस नंबर रख दीजिए ना, हो जाएगा.
ठीक है, तो
अब हाँ, अब आप
ठीक है, चलेगा.
ठीक है ना, उस वैसे भी चलेगा. और परसेंटेज करना है तो फिर आपको अकॉर्डिंगली टाइप करना पड़ेगा.
हाँ ठीक है, लेट्स सी. यहाँ से किया तो
हो गया ना.
ठीक है, तो दिस वी विल जस्ट चेंज. यहाँ से लेके आते हैं. दिस इज द प्रोबेबिलिटी ऑफ प्रॉफिट. अच्छा, फिर से वही होगा.
हाँ, क्योंकि ऊपर से आपने
कीर्ति जी, यू सेलेक्ट फुल परसेंटेज. आप खाली नंबर सेलेक्ट कर रही है.
0.64 कर देंगे, आ जाएगा.
हाँ, तो भी आ जाएगा.
आप परसेंटेज पूरा लीजिए ना, कॉपी करते हुए पूरा परसेंटेज उठाइए.
नहीं, पूरा परसेंटेज ही उठाया था.
नहीं मैम, आप पॉइंट वो परसेंटेज डबल परसेंटेज लग जा रहा है.
परसेंटेज छूट रहा है आपका. आप नंबर
0.65 कर दीजिए. सही बात है,
0.6504 कर दीजिए मैम, आ जाएगा.
ओके, ठीक है, विल जस्ट एंटर इट.
0.65. हाँ, ये आ जाएगा. सही है.
65. ठीक है, विल जस्ट एंटर इट.
सर नहीं आएगा, आप उसको पूरा कॉपी कर लीजिए, आ जाएगा. अब यू गो टू द कॉपी. आप स्ट्रेटेजी में जाइए. आप देखो ना, आपका परसेंटेज छूटा हुआ है. यू सी द लास्ट 34 के आगे. यस, या नाउ यू गॉट इट राइट.
ठीक है, तो या थैंक्स. सो दिस इज द approximate profit amount. Probability of loss will be this. ठीक है, loss amount we are taking from here. Okay. Next we will go to iron fly. So this I will just say this is a credit spread.
You are not writing margin required?
No, currently we are just focusing on.
No, but you have to compare with the margin also, na?
Right. ठीक है, let's just
चलो ठीक है,
keep this margin here. हाँ, हम लोग रख देते हैं. We can analyze it later.
Because that will play a big role.
This is a credit spread का margin. Let's look at the debit spread का margin. This was our debit spread. We will copy the debit spread margin also. The debit spread margin. ठीक है. Now let's go to one iron fly and one iron ponder. So I will again reset it from here. So whoever is new, if you just want to play with options and you want to, see how it works, then you can use the ready-made strategies from here. So I will just go here. Strategy builder में जाना है. Then you have to click on this iron fly. Whatever Oxtra is giving, I'm just taking the same. So now in this case, this is the probability of profit for an iron fly. Profit amount is this. Now what is the probability of loss? we'll put it, this is the loss amount and the probability of loss is this much. Next we go to iron condor.
मैम इसमें एक प्रॉब्लम है आयरन फ्लाई में, क्योंकि आयरन फ्लाई में हम जो प्रॉफिट ले रहे हैं वो मैक्सिमम प्रॉफिट है, दैट इज नॉट यूनिफॉर्म प्रॉफिट, और बाकी क्रेडिट एंड डेबिट में वो यूनिफॉर्म प्रॉफिट है.
Right, we will discuss on that also. Just a minute. Net margin. ठीक है. Next is iron condor. So we'll just save this iron fly. Now again I'll go to reset. Now I'm clicking on iron condor. Okay. नीचे चला गया, just a minute. ठीक है. So this is iron condor. Just save it as iron condor. ठीक है. So this is again the probability of profit for an iron condor. Approx. My alt tab is not working. Just a minute. This is the approximate profit amount. And this is the approximate loss amount. ठीक है. So what I just wanted to say, suppose we are the way we discussed, right? Law of large numbers. तो हम लोग अगर 1000 trades लेंगे in all of these
margin requirement.
Yeah, just a minute. So this is my margin requirement. Okay. So I'm just saying कि यही हम लोग अगर 1000 trades लेंगे and we will see with this probability what is the net profit or the net loss we are making, and we will see what is the net return. ठीक है. So we are just checking the net return. Margin I have kept here. Currently we are not calculating the percentage returns. We are just checking the absolute one. So this is my probability of profit into this is my profit amount into I do 1000 trades. Okay, so this I do it for everything. Now we will check for the loss. So this is my loss probability. This is the loss amount, and I do it for 1000 trades again. And I do it here. Now we will see the net returns.
And मैडम 10,000 हो गया.
कौन सा?
नहीं 10,000 कर दिएगा तो 1,000 की जगह.
एक मिनट, लेट मी चेक.
10,000
हो गए. Just 1,000. This is 1,000. Okay. So now we will just see the net.
ये कोई नई चीज पता पड़ रही है आज.
ठीक है. So now when we see this, ठीक है, I have not done any manipulations. I have just taken the data as it is from Opstra. Net ये percentage we will leave it currently. We are just looking at absolute returns. ठीक है. So when you are doing a credit spread, you are a net option seller, right? Because you are selling a higher premium, that's why you are a net option seller. That's why the probability is more, and you will have some net positive return if you have a sufficiently large sample of 1000 trades. Okay, but if you go for a debit spread, you will have a negative return, net return, and it will be like if after brokerages and taxes, if you add, it will go even more negative, right? यहाँ पे अगर आप brokerages and taxes add करेंगे, this return will vanish away. In iron fly also you are seeing it is net some positive, but and in iron condor is the worst, right? So if you have a system which doesn't have a positive expectancy, in this case आप अगर वही iron condor follow करेंगे, you do 1000 trades also, you follow risk management, risk reward, everything. You once you deploy the condor, you just don't touch it, and then you realize after taking so many trades also you are in net loss. Why? Because this doesn't seem to be a positive expectancy system. तो अभी इसमें भी एक छोटा सा catch है. I am not going to calculate the percentage returns because I just wanted to show कि यहाँ पे negative है.
आयरन फ्लाई को आपको एग्जैक्ट करना है तो यू कैन दिस इज मैक्सिमम प्रॉफिट तो यू कैन डिवाइड इट बाय 2 सो दैट यू गेट एवरेज प्रॉफिट.
क्या कैसे
आयरन फ्लाई में क्या है मैम ने जो लिया वो मैक्सिमम प्रॉफिट वो हमेशा नहीं आएगा, तो यू हैव टू टेक एवरेज प्रॉफिट.
वो कंडीशन सेम रखी है ना सभी में उनके लिए.
नहीं I will just tell
सर वो
what
आयरन फ्लाई में ओनली मैक्सिमम प्रॉफिट शो करता है, वो हर वो रेंज के मैक्सिमम प्रॉफिट नहीं आएगा और प्रोबेबिलिटी वो रेंज पे कैलकुलेट करता है.
ट्राइंग टू से इज जो आयरन फ्लाई का प्रॉफिट दिखा रहा है ना, ये जो पीक का प्रॉफिट है ना, दैट इज शोन राइट.
प्रोबेबिलिटी वो रेंज के दिखाता है.
नहीं आएगा हमेशा, ये प्रॉफिट नहीं आएगा.
लास्ट 2 इयर्स में मुझे एक बार मिला है. लास्ट 2 इयर्स एवरी वीक में करता हूँ आयरन फ्लाई.
मैं वही बोल रही हूँ बिकॉज वी डोंट नो दिस. तो अभी अगर हम लोग आयरन फ्लाई का देखेंगे, अगर ये प्रोबेबिलिटी है 35% की, ठीक है, तो ये मैक्सिमम प्रॉफिट की जो प्रोबेबिलिटी है, ये टोटल 35% मतलब ये पूरा ट्रायंगल आने की प्रोबेबिलिटी है 35.
पूरी रेंज की है.
हाँ पूरे रेंज की.
मैम यू कैन डिवाइड इट बाय 2 देन इट इज कम एवरेज प्रॉफिट, वो सही हो जाएगा. आप प्रॉफिट को डिवाइड बाय 2 कर दो.
लेट्स जस्ट ट्राई टू डिवाइड इट बाय 2. सो दिस
नुरानी जी आप कुछ बोलेंगे? नुरानी जी आप तो एक्सपर्ट हैं इसके डेबिट
यस सर.
आपका क्या व्यू है?
मैडम जो बता रहे हैं वो एज पर स्टैटिस्टिक्स इट्स ऑल राइट, सब ठीक है. बाकी हर स्ट्रेटेजी का अपना एक पर्पस है. जैसे डेबिट स्प्रेड जो है वो आपको डायरेक्शन जाना है तो करनी चाहिए. क्रेडिट स्प्रेड आपको थोड़ा सा माइल्ड बुलिश या माइल्ड बेरिश व्यू है, माइल्ड बुलिश टू साइडवेज, माइल्ड बेरिश टू साइडवेज, तब करना चाहिए. तो उसकी क्या होगी?
नहीं वो तो ठीक है निरानी जी, वो आप जो बोल रहे हैं सही है. इशू ये है कि एक लेमैन अगर लेता है.
मैं आपको वही समझा रहा हूँ. तो स्टैटिस्टिकली मैडम जो समझा रहे वो एकदम सही समझा रहे, और ये जो फ्लाई में 50% करने का कहा वो भी ठीक है. एवरीथिंग इज ओके, एवरीथिंग इज गोइंग वेल. लेकिन कंपैरिजन के लिए ये चारों क्राइटेरिया एज ए लेमैन ठीक है, लेकिन वो कंपेयर नहीं कर पाएंगे अपने स्टैटिस्टिकली. इट्स ओके अगर कंपेयर करें.
आई विल जस्ट कम टू दोस पॉइंट्स. तो ओके, तो वन थिंग जो हमने आयरन फ्लाई में देखा, जो प्रोबेबिलिटी है, फॉर एग्जांपल अगर ये प्रोबेबिलिटी है मेरी लॉस की, मैक्सिमम लॉस की 7%, ठीक है, तो ये हमें दिख रहा है कि ये रेंज छोड़ने के बाद मैक्स लॉस तो मुझे होने के 100% चांसेस है. बट ये रेंज के अंदर 1 रुपया भी प्रॉफिट आएगा, इसकी प्रोबेबिलिटी है 35%. तो इवन इफ इट्स अ 1 रुपी प्रॉफिट, इट इज शोइंग मी अ प्रोबेबिलिटी ऑफ 35%. और ये पीक आने की तो प्रोबेबिलिटी और भी कम है. सो व्हाट आई एम जस्ट ट्राइंग टू से, आयरन फ्लाई को इफ वी डिवाइड बाय 2 मतलब एवरेज प्रॉफिट जैसे कुछ देखेंगे, तो इवन दैट इज शोइंग अ लॉस मेकिंग सिस्टम.
इट इज राइट.
इफ वी डोंट डिवाइड इट बाय 2, अगर उतना ही रखेंगे अज्यूमिंग मैक्स प्रॉफिट, ठीक है, जो अपने एक्सपेक्टेड वैल्यू के फॉर्मूला में था, दैट इज द एवरेज प्रॉफिट और एवरेज लॉस हमें देखना है. बट करंटली वी आर टेकिंग वॉट एवर इज द मैक्स प्रॉफिट और मैक्स लॉस. तो क्रेडिट और डेबिट स्प्रेड में तो इट इज अप्रोक्सीमेटली एवरेज प्रॉफिट लॉस ओनली. इवन इन आयरन कॉन्डर, सिर्फ वो आयरन फ्लाई में थोड़ा एक्सट्रापोलेट हो जाएगा प्रॉफिट, बट ठीक है. सो करंटली इफ वी अज्यूम द सेम, so what I was trying to say is for this system, ठीक है, if there is a layman, the way Abid sir was just mentioning, if you are a layman, if you don't know anything about direction, ठीक है, if you just go to play on statistics and you deploy these strategies, you will for sure land in losses, because हमने यहाँ पे देखा है, ठीक है, we have not manipulated it, we have taken data as is. परसेंटेज तो कैलकुलेट करना ही नहीं पड़ा, बिकॉज वी सॉ कि कहीं पे तो नेगेटिव भी आ रहा है, ठीक है. So what we have to do, like only knowing strategies is not good enough. If you have to know strategies, you need to know a little bit of price action also. The way he just mentioned, कि direction का थोड़ा सा तो sense होना चाहिए. If you are just playing on probabilities and statistics, you know, you keep everything like risk same रखो, reward same रखो, you follow all the steps. But अगर आपको direction का भी अंदाजा नहीं है, तो even then you can go wrong, right? So we are just seeing what all can go wrong if you are taking, or if we are venturing into markets, and why it is so difficult, like, right? वरना बहुत सारे लोग advocate करते हैं. Other thing what you can do is adjustments, जो workshops होते हैं, right, around adjustments and things like that. तो फिर आपको adjustment का वगैरह भी थोड़ा सा पता होना चाहिए. What I am saying is, if you don't know, you are just taking any strategy and you are keeping it for expiry, ठीक है, जो आएगा देखा जाएगा, you will definitely end up in loss, because we are looking at it from statistics point of view, right? So either you have to do some adjustments, or you have to decide कि I will not wait for this max loss, I will exit at half the max loss, something like that, you know, so that in net you get something out of it. तो वो भी मैंने देखा था। तो इवन इफ दिस इज द लॉस अमाउंट, राइट, तो वी अज्यूम कि हम लोग पूरा लॉस के लिए वेट नहीं करेंगे, वी जस्ट वेट फॉर 60% ऑफ द लॉस। अगर 60% हिट हो गया तो वी एग्जिट, ठीक है। तो दिस आई एम जस्ट टेकिंग 60% एवरीवेयर एंड वी आर जस्ट ट्राइंग टू फाइंड इट आउट एंड देन वी विल सी द नेट रिटर्न। तो दिस इज द प्रॉफिट, लॉस में 60% लेके एग्जिट करने वाली हूँ। ओके, सो एंड वी जस्ट चेक इट ओवर हियर, ठीक है। तो उसके बाद कुछ तो आएगा। नाउ इफ आई डिसाइड कि ठीक है मैं 75% लॉस तक वेट करूंगी सब ट्रेड्स में, इफ 75% इज हिट आई विल एग्जिट। तो हमने देखा कि 75% भी अगर हम लोग लॉस लेते तो इवन आफ्टर दैट द आयरन कॉन्डोर इज अ नेट लॉस मेकिंग स्ट्रैटेजी, राइट। तो यू शुड जस्ट नो दिस कि एज अ लेमैन, even if you follow discipline, you follow strategy, you follow everything, but if you don't have an idea of price action, you are just betting on probabilities, it is not going to land you anywhere. So I just wanted to show this. So now we cannot do this exercise for straddles and strangles for a simple reason कि यहाँ पे हमें जो loss वाला है वो आएगा नहीं, right, loss amount. So we cannot make these formulas. But if we are looking at it कि अगर hedge strategies भी loss making है, तो अनहेज स्ट्रेटजीज में अगर कभी ब्लैक स्वॉन हो गया तो इट विल डेफिनेटली लैंड अप इन लॉस, राइट। So I just wanted to show this key strategies is also nothing. So when we hedge a strategy, what the way I interpret it is you are hedging it for the worst case scenario. जैसे आप कार में बैठने के बाद you put the seat belt, right, or on bike you put that helmet. That is just for the worst case scenario कि अगर आपका गलती से एक्सीडेंट हो गया तो, and it's not that you will always wait for that expiry day to see if the accident is happening or not, right. उसके पहले आपको भी हाथ पैर चलाने, you have to do adjustments, you have to do many other things. या फिर आप अगर strategy deploy कर रहे हैं, you have to have a basket of multiple strategies rather than just one strategy. या फिर जैसे हमने RCDS में बात की, either you have to have multiple instruments on the same strategy, or if you are taking only one strategy, you have to diversify it in terms of time. So we will see that going forward. But what I just wanted to say is don't bet everything. Don't go all in on any one strategy, because even if you do it for a sufficiently long time, you can still end up in a negative return if you are not doing adjustment or anything else. So that's what I just
add something here. Actually, if particularly absolutely a newbie shouldn't attempt headlong into option selling. It's going to be a disaster, number one. Number two, market view is very important, because every strategy is for a specific market view. If I cannot establish my market view, I shouldn't do option selling, and for that matter even option buying. Both will definitely get me into difficult position. After that comes the hedging, because even my market view can go wrong, number one, and then unexpected events can happen which I need to hedge against, and then this loss that I'm maximum loss that I'm ready to undertake. These are, I think, 4 important elements before a specific strategy can be chosen. And no strategy works all the time. Nothing like all seasons one single strategy. It cannot happen, because if that were to happen, then everybody will be doing that strategy, right?
Right. That's what.
It can't be that simple. Then it's not a business. You are we are kind of doing better than the the mark or the players who are running it. That cannot happen.
Right. If that was the case, like Ambani is having so much money, he will hire some good traders and he'll put everything in this, right? Why he wants to invest and build big machines and take the spectrum and then do business, give salaries and all of that stuff. So it's just that.
And also just one more point. Actually, it is never good. I mean, this is my experience, particularly my view. It is not good to wait till the expiry or take every penny out of a deal. We should have a reasonable appetite and then get out of that trade after we have made a reasonable profit.
This is very correct answer.
It's right. It's like, so generally what they say is, अगर आपकी स्ट्रैटेजी में आपको प्रॉफिट हो रहा है, यू एग्जिट वेल बिफोर एक्सपायरी. अगर लॉस
खाना खाने जाते हैं, जब खाना खाने जाते हैं तो 10% टिप देते हैं ना, तो यहाँ भी मार्केट को 10% टिप दे दो और 90% लेके निकल जाओ.
So Kothari ji, very often it's better to exit when you are when I'm in a profit of 50, 60%. Not even wait for 90%. Unless I'm very sure market direction is absolutely the way I have thought of. Only then, I would like to squeeze. Otherwise, I will exit with and be happy with something. And the other thing that I think is very important is, see, when I'm exiting, somebody else is entering, right? I should leave something for them also. Otherwise, the market will not exist.
सही बात है।
सर, मैंने जो क्रेडिट स्प्रेड का स्ट्रेटेजी दिया था लास्ट मतलब एक महीने पहले वाला संडे, वो आप सबकी बातों से काउंटर करता है, एक्सपायरी तक रन करते हैं, सेफेस्ट स्ट्रेटेजी है, नया आदमी भी कर सकता है और बहुत इजी है। मतलब ये एक स्ट्रेटेजी ऐसी मैंने दी है कि वो नया आदमी भी, घोष सर के लिए बोल रहा हूँ, घोष सर बोलते हैं ना सेलिंग नए आदमी को नहीं करनी चाहिए, घोष सर वो नए आदमी के लिए ही है वो स्ट्रेटेजी। एंड बहुत सेफ है, बहुत हाई प्रोबेबल स्ट्रेटेजी है और बहुत अच्छी है। मैं इसके लिए इसको
नंबर ऑफ ट्रेड ज्यादा है
जी।
चलिए
क्या बोलो,
ठीक है ओके।
नहीं तो इट्स
ओके
जस्ट दैट
कैरी ऑन कीर्ति जी, कैरी ऑन, बात बहुत लेट हो जाएगा।
ठीक है, तो वी हैव जस्ट सीन कि आप सिर्फ स्ट्रैटेजी लेके बैठ नहीं सकते। Either you have to have an exit point in mind कि इतने लॉस में एग्जिट या इतने प्रॉफिट में एग्जिट करना है, or else you should know adjustments, right? You should do something about it. If you just take and sit on it, even if you do it for a sufficiently long time, you can still end up negative. So that's the only thing. और ये आयन फ्लाई में हमने देखा है, ठीक है। तो इफ यू लुक एट द डिप्लॉयड मार्जिन, ठीक है, मार्जिन आपका 55,000 लग रहा है, मैक्स प्रॉफिट इट इज शोइंग एज 18%, ठीक है। आप 18% अज्यूम इट इज 20%, तो इफ यू डू इट फॉर 5 वीक्स आपका कैपिटल डबल हो जाएगा, राइट? बट इज इट पॉसिबल कि 5 वीक में अगर आपने 55,000 ही रखा, तो इवन लुक एट द ड्रॉ डाउन, हाउ मच ड्रॉ डाउन विल हैपन इन दोस 5 वीक्स इफ यू यूज फॉर कंसेक्यूटिव 5 वीक्स। So you should always have a proper position sizing also in this case. For example, अगर ये 10,000 का max profit है और it is showing 4,500 का max loss, you can keep maybe 5 lakh for this, ठीक है। तो it is 4,300, right? Now in front of 5 lakh margin, it will be less than 1%. So that risk you can take. So even if you are entering, you should not assume that it is for 55,000. You should assume this iron fly you will deploy only one lot for a 5 lakh margin. So even that way you can keep your risk reward and risk management in control. So yeah, was I clear on that part?
Yeah.
Okay, so fine. So we just looked at this. So okay, now we'll move back to our slides. We'll go back to the presentation mode. Okay,
मुझे एक डाउट है।
हाँ
हाँ,
yes,
just go back to that previous Excel sheet.
Excel sheet, okay, just a minute. क्या हो गया मेरे, इसी हैंग हो गया क्या? just a minute.
Okay, उसमें आयन कंडोर जो है वो सबसे लॉस मेकिंग स्ट्रेटेजी है,
राइट?
correct?
सबसे ज्यादा लॉस मेकिंग है, राइट?
हाँ, उसको हम रिवर्स करेंगे तो क्या होगा? जो बाय किया है वो सेल किया तो वो बाय करेंगे,
मतलब कि मतलब बटरफ्लाई
नहीं तो वो क्या होगा ना, नहीं इट विल बी
लॉन्ग कॉन्डोर,
लॉन्ग कंडोर
बटरफ्लाई ना,
लॉन्ग कॉन्डोर,
हाँ
नहीं, बट इवन देन उसका ना प्रोबेबिलिटी बहुत कम हो जाएगा। इट्स लाइक कि वो 1000-2000 पॉइंट्स के रेंज के बीच में आपको कुछ नहीं मिलेगा, और अगर वाइल्ड मूव आएगा तो ही आपको प्रॉफिट आना शुरू होगा।
हाँ, मतलब बाइंग में
गॉट इट ना? तो वी हैव जस्ट सीन, तो द ओनली,
लेकिन नॉर्मली उसमें लॉस होता है तो वो रिवर्स करके, हाँ, मोस्टली लॉस होगा और प्रॉफिट होगा तब कभी भी हो सकता है।
हाँ, वो थोड़ा सा उसमें ये है, प्रोबेबिलिटी ऑफ प्रॉफिट का इशू हो जाएगा।
सर उसमें आप नेट बायर हो, नेट बायर विल नेवर अर्न इन लॉन्गर टर्म। अगर आप वो नॉन डायरेक्शनल हो तो डायरेक्शनल में ही कमा पाएगा बायर।
So what we just talked about edge ना, मुझे यहाँ पे बोलना था कि there is no intrinsic edge in anything. हमने देखा naked selling में तो edge है ही नहीं, because anyway anytime your capital can go wipe off, right? Then if you do even hedge strategies, उसमें भी बहुत जगहों पे intrinsic edge नहीं है, only a proper risk reward or risk management can bring in that, ठीक है?
नहीं, एडजस्टमेंट में प्रो होगा ना,
राइट, और you should know adjustments, or you should know the market direction. मतलब कुछ तो पता होना चाहिए that way.
Yes, yes.
So that
हम
is
लोग
the case.
जो एडजस्टमेंट की बात कर रहे हैं तो एडजस्टमेंट तो डायरेक्शन रिलेटेड है, और अगर डायरेक्शन रिलेटेड से एडजस्टमेंट करना है तो नॉन डायरेक्शनल स्ट्रेटजी की जरूरत क्या है? अगर आप
फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल व्यू होना चाहिए,
हाँ जी।
अगर व्यू रॉन्ग होता है तो एडजस्टमेंट में प्रो होना चाहिए। एग्जैक्टली
या फिर आपको एक फिक्स्ड एसएल रख के निकलना भी चाहिए rather than
नहीं तो आप डायरेक्शन पता करते, डायरेक्शनल व्यू लीजिए और जो एक स्ट्रिक्ट स्टॉप लॉस करके निकल जाइए, दैट इज मच बेटर। जो एटलीस्ट व्हाट आई एम सेइंग कि आपने नॉन डायरेक्शनल स्ट्रेटजी लिया 1 महीने तक, 2 महीने तक, 3 महीने तक या लीप के केस में साल भर तक आप उसमें एडजस्टमेंट करते जा रहे हैं, नेवर नोइंग व्हेन इट इज गोइंग टू हिट यू। तो इससे बेहतर है कि आपने अपनी कैपिटल को थोड़ा सा एडजस्ट किया कि कितने परसेंट कैपिटल पे आपको 5% रिस्क लेना है, कितने पे 1% रिस्क लेना है, कितने पे 20% रिस्क लेना है, और उसी को उतने टाइम फ्रेम के हिसाब से खेलते रहिए। सर मैं इसलिए कह रहा हूँ सर, मैं एक्चुअली मुझे समझने के लिए क्वेश्चन पूछ रहा हूँ। मैं नॉन डायरेक्शनल मैंने 1-2 बार करने की कोशिश की, तो उसमें जहाँ पे व्यू आता है, तो अगर मुझे उसमें एडजस्टमेंट ही करने हैं तो मैं डायरेक्शन का व्यू लेके उसका ट्रेड ले लेता हूँ।
सर तिवारी सर मैं आपका जवाब देता हूँ। बेसिकली क्या है, नॉन डायरेक्ट आपको मार्केट से पैसा ऑप्शन सेलिंग से लेना है तो आपको नॉन डायरेक्शनल भी रहना पड़ेगा एज वेल एज डायरेक्शनल भी रहना पड़ेगा। मार्केट हमेशा एब्स एंड फ्लोज में चलता है, कभी डायरेक्शनल रहेगा, कभी एक साइडवेज रेंज में रहेगा। तो जब वो साइडवेज रेंज में रहेगा आपको थीटा का बेनिफिट लेना है, जब वो डायरेक्शन चेंज करेगा आपको एडजस्ट करके डेल्टा का बेनिफिट लेना है। आप दोनों बेनिफिट लेना सीख गए तो आप ऑप्शन सेलिंग से हमेशा पैसा लेके जाओगे। ये उसका जवाब है। और इसके लिए थोड़ा सा सेलिंग में आपको पता होना चाहिए कि वेगा, डेल्टा और थीटा को कैसे मैनेज करना है मार्केट पोजीशन के हिसाब से।
Actually, the Greeks are also important.
Exactly.
And also when you do a strategy and we put it into abstract or sensible, we should look at the sigma value also. If you are crossing, the 2 sigma value, let's say in iron condor, then your chances of, you will find that probability of profit is also very high in where the sigma values are high on both plus sigma and minus sigma. So that I normally look at that and take, because I'm more comfortable to get, let's say, value out of theta decay when the sigmas are high, because I'm comfortable. And I also have hedged with iron condor. So even if something happens, I still limit my loss, but chances of profit is very high, although it will be less because I have sold at a lesser premium. So that's one view I had. I thought I'll express.
Yeah, so it's like theta. When you go to collect theta, it will be very less, right? Thoda DK आपको मिलेगा and you are collecting it. But if at all the vega or the delta goes against you, or on expiry day you face gamma, you will lose all 1 month, 1 year gain, or even the entire capital can be wiped off. So
I'm talking about iron condor.
Right. No, so I'm just telling you.
I still have hedged. I will not lose everything.
Right. No, so I was saying, like, if you are going for non-directional strategy, you should always have an exit point in mind, because when the delta or the gamma will kick in, and if you are unhedged especially, then no matter how much adjustment you do, you cannot come out in a profitable way. So for non-directional, always have a exit point in mind. कितना ही adjust करेंगे? See, we are not here to showcase our adjustment skills, right? We are here to make money. If you understand, see why you are going for non-directional, because you are saying market will remain range bound. Now your view has already gone wrong. It has already gone wrong because market has taken a direction. Now, when it has taken a direction, you decide, okay, till this point I will stay in, otherwise I will go out. Because if it is in a very trending direction and you are still sitting on a non-directional trade, you are already wrong. And now the only way is to find a safe exit route with minimal loss or no loss. You can no way go ahead and make profit out of it most of the times. So
very correct. Actually, as much as we have a risk appetite, we should also have a profit appetite for exit. If we know the exit point, it is better, also not wait, because many times, waiting to get higher return as actually because of the market situation, it has gone into a negative, and then get into an adjustment and all of that, and from profit try to do break even at least and things like that. So that's why I see my exit point is always even if it is in my direction, 50 to 60% is my exit point.
Okay, so just we spoke about the strategies, and you should just know that you should have something in mind. Even if you are going for hedge strategies, just taking it and sitting till the end will do no good. It will do more harm than good. So this was about the strategies. We also saw there is no intrinsic edge in anything. We have to have a proper risk management and position sizing. Only then we can sit in. Like if you have deployed a 5 lakh capital, you can maybe wait for the 5,000 loss, and at the end, if there is some gamma move, it expires at your center, you will get that 10-15,000 profit. But assume if you are going for 55,000 per lot, and then in 5 lakh you have taken some 8-9 lots, there is no way that you can wait till that 4,000 loss or max loss is reached, right? So even position sizing has to be very important. So we have seen like option sellers or even option hedgers, do they have an edge? No, they don't have. It's just that the probability of making money is more. The probability is on their side. Okay, there is no edge. So this we just spoke about the strategies. So there is a small example which I wanted to give here. So say for example, if there is a bag, okay, and that bag is having 1,000 bullets. In that, all are fake bullets. There is just one real bullet inside it, and remaining 999 are fake bullets. So strangles work like that, right? Just because you don't, every time you put your hand in, there would be a fake bullet which you would get, doesn't mean that the real bullet doesn't exist, right? And you are, just working on the probability, thinking the probability is very less, it would never happen. But if one day that a real bullet comes in, you are gone, right? So even in case of this strangles, it works that way. So there is a very high probability, but that one day if a circuit hits up or down or something like that, your entire capital is gone. Then there is no more second chance that you can take to work on your probabilities again. So just know it, like having maximum probability still means that there is still a 1% or a 0.01% or a 0.001% probability that it can go wrong. And that's why have your exit plan in mind, or have a proper position sizing at least, so that your entire capital won't get wiped off. So that's about the strategies. Now we just spoke about risk reward and position sizing. So I generally, what I do is whenever I deploy an iron fly, I'll keep 5 lakh capital for it. It helps in two ways. One is my risk, which we saw, like if it is 4,500, it will be less than 1% of my capital for 1 week, right? So it will be less than 4% for 1 month. So that way, and again, if you have to, do an extra selling in iron fly for collecting additional credit if market takes in a direction, then also you need to have that extra capital, right, for having the extra selling done. So it helps in that way also. So it helps in multiple ways. So that you can decide like how you want to keep your position sizing based on your profit and loss taking capability. And then this we just spoke, like adjustments, they will help you to reduce your max loss, but yeah, they will also reduce your profits to some extent, and they can help you stay in the trade for a longer time. So you have to decide, what works better for you, like whether you want to go for adjustments or you want to keep a proper position size and stay till the end. So there is no one size fits all. You have to find what will work best for you. So adjustment, sometimes when we do adjustment, we give a debit to the market, right, to move closer to the market and reduce our loss, but that will reduce our profit. That will also reduce our probability of profit. If you do adjustment wherein you go to collect extra credit, right, then your probability of profit will increase. Your maximum profit will also increase. But then on the other side, the loss will become, like it will be a unlimited loss kind of a situation. So you have to always weigh everything. Market is like, it will reward you at one end, and at the other end, it will take something out of you that way. So you just have to, weigh it properly. Okay, just a minute. Just a minute. I think my daughter is just a minute.
for the children. So I said, "Ki whenever you want, she can take a break." You can unmute and you can speak if you want. I just unmuted everybody.
आज राकेश जी है क्या लाइन में? राकेश,
हाँ,
राकेश जी आज लाइन में नहीं दिख रहे.
हाँ, राकेश जी के पेरेंट्स आए हुए हैं जयपुर से, तो इज बिजी इन हिज पेरेंट. मेरे पेरेंट्स भी आए हुए हैं, सो चल रहा है.
नहीं, उन्होंने एग्जैक्टली आईज खोल दिया था मेरा, क्योंकि मैं ऐसे ही आयरन फ्लाई बेच के बैठा रहता था. तो वो उन्होंने बताया तुम कितना चाहते हो, 50,000 लगा के 5,000 मिला, 10% हो गए. पूरा 11,000 गेन करने के लिए फिर लॉस में जाता था.
राइट.
तो मैं
कीर्ति जी आपको ब्रेक लेना है? नहीं, एक मिनट कीर्ति, आपको ब्रेक लेना है थोड़ा सा?
नहीं, इट्स फाइन. शी वेंट. वो ऐसे ऊपर आ गई थी.
You want to continue now? Okay.
Yeah, I can continue.
Okay, continue.
ठीक है. तो okay, so we just spoke कि there is no win-win situation, right? Market is even for everybody. तो अगर कुछ दे रहा है तो it will take away also something. If it is giving you credit, it will give you unlimited loss at one place. If you are giving debit, then it will give you additional profit. It will reduce your profit, but then it will reduce your loss also. So you have to just weigh what will work better for you. Just a minute. ठीक है. तो and before entering anything, just decide कि how much loss you are ready to take for it. And profit is anyways not in your hands. The way we always spoke, it's up to the markets, right? So there are two things. One is area of concern and the other is area of this thing, control. ठीक है. Whatever we have under our control is only the stop loss or the trailing profits or things like that. What the market will do will never be in our control, right? So why waste time in predicting what the market will do? You have an initial view. Go in with that. If your view goes wrong, then you should know what you are going to do next, because what the market will do is something you can never predict, but at least decide what you are going to do in that situation. So that's the way to move forward. Have a strategy level SL. Like if you are not having a proper position sizing, then you can have a strategy level SL. You can have an account level SL. So what I generally do is I have 3-4 different accounts in which I trade, and what I decide is if I'm taking one strategy, it will be only in one account, and in the other account there will be some other strategy. So that way, by default, it happens that I don't put all my eggs in one basket. So it will never happen that in 2 different accounts I'm running the same strategy. So I have kept separate accounts only so that it is easier to monitor and handle. Also by default, position sizing, risk management, all that is taken care of. And it also helps me segregate my positional strategies from the intraday ones, so that while entering, exiting, मतलब कभी problem नहीं आता है with the strikes if they overlap or something like that. So that's why I use multiple accounts. So anything can work, but just decide like how you want to take it ahead. So that's about it. So this is the capital allocation. It is approximate margin which is required. What I would say is this is a very aggressive capital allocation. But even if you are following this capital allocation, this is the max till which you can stretch. Just don't go beyond that. So here they have shown a sample for 10 lakh rupees and expecting a weekly return of 1%. 1% means they are expecting 10,000 out of it. So we have kept 5 lakh for Nifty, kept 5 lakh for Bank Nifty. And then with this 5 lakh, if we want to take out 1%, which is 10,000, how much profit would be required. So while allocating, we have just allocated 50% to it, but while extracting the profit, we are extracting profit considering this as 100% capital. So these many points are required. Why we are doing this? Because if we have kept in 2 different strategies or instruments, assuming if one goes into loss and if this one ends in profit, and if you are able to curtail your loss, still net to net you will be profitable. So this I've just shown some capital allocation, and this is a very aggressive capital allocation, but don't go beyond this at any point. So here we see that for Ironfly or calendar, it is just using 60,000 only. Okay, so in 5 lakh it is doing 8 lots. I would never do that. I would just do 1 lot, but this is the max which you can go, because sometimes people will buy additional hedges, this that, to increase the profitability, but the loss also increases significantly. So you just have to make sure. So this you can just go through. I don't follow this position sizing, but if you are very aggressive, this is the max which you can follow.
But Kirti, if you do the ROI analysis also, then you can further filter ki which strategy is better and where the probability is higher. All those things also you can do it now.
Right, that also you can do. And there is also one more thing we will discuss anyways going further, but there is also one more thing, like which strategy suits you, right? There are so many traders which will go naked also, and they want to go naked only with naked selling, and they have built a huge capital with naked selling. So what they say in trading or in general life, मतलब लोग गलत नहीं होते, लोग बस अलग होते हैं. Even strategies, there is nothing right or wrong. It is just different, and you have to find what suits you among those. So what suits me might not suit you, right? लोगों का food taste अलग होता है, लोगों का मतलब बाकी चीजें अलग होती है. Like some go to the restaurant, they will look at the prices. Some will look at the menu first. So there are so many factors which are at play, but you have to find what suits you. In market, everybody earns. Option buyer will earn, seller will also earn, hedger will also earn. Institutions will also earn, retailers will earn, everybody will earn. Even a naked option seller will earn. But you should know what suits you, and you should do only that what is suiting you. That's why borrowed strategies generally don't work, because uske risk appetite, uske temperament, uske बाकी ट्रेड्स के हिसाब से उसने उसके लिए strategy डिजाइन किया है. And if it doesn't suit you and you are still following that, you cannot make money, however profitable it is, because you cannot sit through that strategy if it doesn't suit you. So, okay. So what I generally do is I don't have one strategy. The way I told, I have multiple accounts. So I have multiple strategies most of the time. I just decide like, okay, so we will see that going forward, how it happens. So, okay, do you work on one strategy or multiple strategies? So we are coming to the same point. What will give better returns and why? So we will just see it on Excel. Okay. So what generally people say, there is also a popular saying, right? Jack of all traders is master of none. That's why they say, they give an example like that he fears a man who has practiced that one kick 1,000 times rather than somebody who has practiced 1,000 different kind of kicks. So some people believe going in on one strategy, going all in on one strategy. I generally prefer the diversification route. Like I don't put all my eggs in one basket. I have to, I kind of go in a diversified way, and I will tell you the reason why. So we will just look at this slide, this Excel, sorry. So I'm just zooming it a little. So say, for example, I have three different strategies. This is X, Y, and Z strategy. I have taken this performance for 5 days for all the three strategies. This is making me like on day 1, it is giving a profit of 1,500. On day 2, a loss of 750. Okay, so I have kept it for 5 days. Strategy Y performance, I have taken it for 5 days, and Z performance, I have taken it for 5 days. Now what I have done is I have summed up everything over here. Okay, so what I can see, all the 5 strategies, if I run it for 5 days, it is giving me a total profit of 4,500. Okay, now what I have seen is the max loss. What it is giving me. So this strategy, the highest negative figure is 2250. So this is giving me a loss of 2,250. This is giving me a max loss of 3,000. Okay, so this way I have taken the max loss for all the 3 strategies. Now, say for example, I am deploying 1 lakh capital in any of these strategies, like individually, or it can be as a combo. I have only 1 lakh capital which I can deploy. I have decided that the max loss I can take in any strategy, like not a strategy per se, I can say it's a daily loss limit of 3% which I have kept. So on a 1 lakh capital, on a 1 lakh capital, I will never exceed a 3,000 rupees loss. Okay, now we will just go and analyze this. Okay, so now you can tell me if I have to keep my loss up to a maximum of 3,000 and I decide only to deploy this X strategy, what are the maximum lots I can deploy of this strategy to keep my loss under 3,000 per day?
$1 lakh divided by 2250 into 3000.
Okay, so max, we can deploy only one lot of this strategy, right? Because if I deploy 2 lots in this strategy, then my loss will become 2250 into 2, which is 4.5K, right? 4.5K will be 4.5%. Am I making sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I wanted to say is, so if this is one max loss. Okay, if I keep, say for example, 2 lots. So if I keep 2 lots and this is the max loss, then my max loss will become 4,500 on 2 lots, which will exceed 3% or 3,000, which I've kept as a limit. So I can keep only one lot in this case if I deploy strategy X. If I deploy strategy Y, again I can have max one lot. Why? Because max loss is 3,000. With 2 loss, it will give me 6,000, and I want to keep the max loss under 3,000. Now, if I go for strategy Z, again max, I can have one lot. Okay, so this is the max lots I can deploy. What is the max profit I would be getting with one lot in 5 days? This is the total profit, right? So this is the profit which I would be getting into the number of lots I am deploying. So this is the number of lots. So this is going to give me 4,500 profit everywhere. And what is the max loss I have? This is again the max loss into the number of lots I would be deploying. So this would be my max loss and this would be my max profit. If I deploy one lot, because I have to keep my max loss under 3,000. So these are 3 individual strategies. Now we will go to the next section and see what happens if I have a combination of these strategies, maybe a combination of 2 different strategies or a combination of 3 different strategies. Do you think my max loss can reduce and my max profit can increase simultaneously if I make a basket of different permutation combination of these 3 strategies? Like, do you think it is simultaneously possible to increase the max profit and reduce the max loss?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's find it out. Okay, I'm getting some background. Okay, fine. So I'll just
basically here all the 3 strategies are negatively correlated. That is how. But normally, what happens if it is giving loss in one strategy, market is going down,
right.
all strategies will give loss.
Right. So we'll discuss on that. So right. So what I have done here is I have added strategy X and Y, and what I have done is I have kept a 50% capital in both. So I'm putting 50,000 in this, 50,000 in this, and that way I'm analyzing the performance for all the 5 days. So this is my max profit which is coming if I sum it up. Okay. And this is my max loss which is coming. So similarly, I have done for Y plus Z, again Z plus X, and then I have done a combination of all the 3. In this case, I have kept a 33% allocation in all the 3 strategies. So this way, my capital deployed is still 1 lakh. It is 1 lakh on only X, only Y, only Z, or 1 lakh on X plus Y, or 1 lakh on Y plus Z, or 1 lakh on X plus Y plus Z, that way. So what I have seen here, my max profit is 4,500, even in this case, in all the strategies, in fact. And my max loss, if I do X plus Y strategy, my max loss is coming as 750. You can see it from here. Why it is happening? Because whenever my strategy Y is giving me a loss of 3,000, my strategy X is giving me a profit of 1,500. So overall, I am net profitable. Again, here I'm seeing that my strategy Y is giving me a profit when my strategy X is giving me a loss, that way. So that way the max loss is going on reducing because both the strategies are not giving you a loss at any given point in time. So now I have a 750 rupees max loss in this strategy. Okay. So now if I have to have a 3,000 rupees max loss, okay, 3,000 is my max loss, which I can take. And I have 750 loss if I go for one lot of these strategies. So what I can have is max 4 lots. So did this calculation make sense? Am I still there or?
No, you are there. No, you are there. I had unmuted everybody. So now I'm muted now. Unmuted now. Now all can speak. Yeah. No, but when you've done 50% and now you are making 4 to 8, actually you are doing 2 lakh rupees now.
No. What I'm saying is you assume, say for example, this is an option buying strategy, right? So then you can, with 1 lakh, you can buy many lots.
And then, but in the first 9 years said ki you are putting only 50-50 money, 50,000. Then how can you do a 4 lot here?
No. What I'm saying is, okay, say for example, you assume one hypothetical scenario, like I am buying a Nifty option. The price of that Nifty option is ₹50. Okay. And if I want to buy 1 lot, how much will it cost me? It will cost me 2,500. Okay. But in this case, if that entire 2,500 is going away, maybe that option is going to 0 or something like that. Or let's not take that 50 also. Let's take an example of 100. So that is a 100-point option. And if I want to buy that option, it is going to 5,000 rupees. Okay. So with 5,000 rupees, and if I have a 1 lakh rupee with me, and I'm buying this one option, then what can happen is I can buy 20 lots, right? So maybe this is Nifty, maybe this is Bank Nifty, maybe this is something else. So what I'm saying is this capital, you assume that the capital doesn't have a restriction because you can buy 20 lots, but will you go ahead and buy 20 lots? The most classic case is option buying only, right? You know, your capital can double or something like that, but will you go all in and buy 20 lots? No. So in this case, if you want to restrict your loss to this, you will buy just 1 lot because max loss is 2250 in this case, and you want to keep the max loss below 3,000. In this case, if you are adding up strategy X and Y, you can still go ahead and buy 4 lots. Why? Because my max loss is 750. If I go for 4 lots, then it is 750 into 4 and it is giving me a loss of 3,000. Did that make sense?
Okay.
So, so are you getting that point, what I'm trying to say?
It has become too, I will say, complicated.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay, so what I will say, okay, so leave that. We will come to this other Excel which we had seen.
Yeah.
Say for example, I will show you this option. Okay, now what I have seen, this is a debit spread, right? How much does a debit spread need? It needs only 17,000, right? So if you have 1 lakh rupees, how many lots of the debit spread you can take? You can take 5 lots, right? On the 1 lakh capital, if you just need 17,000, you can go in 5 lots in this debit spread. Okay, but I have to, yeah, but if this loss amount is 4,000 rupees, and if I go in 5 lots, how much I'm going to lose? 4,000, 20,000, right? Now, in this case, what I'm saying is, I want to keep my loss under 3%, which is under 3,000. So I want to keep my loss under 3,000 always, irrespective of whatever happens. So if I have to keep my loss under 3,000 and I have these 3 strategies. Now, if I have to keep my loss under 3,000, I can deploy only 1 lot of this strategy. Why? Because my max loss is 2,250. So assume this is a debit spread, not having a 4,000 rupees loss, but having a loss of 2,250. So then I can just have 1 lot of this debit spread, right? If I want to limit my loss under 3,000. Right. So now assume I am having 1 more strategy. So this is maybe a debit spread. This is maybe an iron fly, or maybe it is some naked buying or naked selling or any other strategy. These 2 strategies are not correlated. So why? Because one is giving me profit when the other is giving me loss. So now when instead of putting all my money only in this debit spread, okay, maybe I'm bifurcating my money in this debit spread plus this iron fly or something like that. I'm having 2 different strategies. In that case, when I'm adding up, my max profit is still coming to 4,500. My max loss is coming to 750 because whenever, and I'm deploying half the capital in each strategy. So I have kept 50% in strategy X, 50% in strategy Y. So now my max loss is just 750. But I can deploy 4 lots. Why? Because 750 into 4 is 3,000 rupees. I want to keep my max loss under 3,000. So I can go in 4 lots. Now, is that making sense?
The point is understood, but the basic thing is that both the strategies should not be related or should be negatively correlated. And that is a very big job, because normally if the market is, falling, everyone is,
No, so that, right. That we will come to. So what I'm just trying to say here is, you got this point, right? We can go in 4 lots in this case. Yeah.
Logically, if you are keeping max loss per day is 3,000, then your position size should not be 4 lots. It should be 3 lots.
How come?
Because the moment loss is 3,000 in a day, you will book out and then you will miss the opportunity to book profit.
No. So what I'm saying is, this is 750, right? So what I've just done is, my max loss is 3,000 risk taking capacity, maybe per day or per week or whatever. And then I have divided it by the max loss.
Will you book a loss when it is 3,000, or you will book put stop loss at 3,001?
No, so this is so in the case of debit spread, you see, right? We already know what is the max loss. So we are assuming this is some hedge strategy. You already know this is the max loss. You can leave it to expiry also, right? Because you know beyond that max loss, it is not going to go ahead that way. So I'm just taking one hypothetical example. It can be day 1, day 2, or you can assume this is week 1, week 2, week 3, right? It can be that way also. And this is a 5-week performance rather than a 5-day performance.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Yeah, because this loss is getting 750 rupees because of strategy X and strategy Y. Not both continuous losses. This thing, because one is profit, one is loss. That's why averaging out to 750. That's why you can increase the lots.
Right. That's why we can increase the lot. So if we do a strategy X and Y, we can have max 4 lots, because 750 into 4 will give me that 3,000. Now again, in this case, I will see what max lots I can have. So this is showing me for this, I can have max 2 lots. If I do Z plus X, I can have max 1 lot. If I do X plus Y plus Z, I can have max 2 lots. Okay, if I want to keep my loss under 3,000. So now assume I have taken strategy X and Y. I go in 4 lots. What will be my max profit? Max profit is this, like the profit I have into the number of lots. So this will give me a max profit of 18,000. So if I just extrapolate it, okay, so this is my max profit in different strategies. My max loss, what I will do again, this is 4 lots into my average loss. So what I have seen here is, so this is my max loss. So what I have seen, if I do permutation combinations, what I find out, when I go for strategy X plus strategy Y, my max loss is still 3,000, under which I want to keep it, but my max profit increases to 18,000. Earlier, if I go just for Y strategy, it is 4,500 as the max profit and 3,000 as the max loss, which is going to 18,000 as the max profit, and my max loss is still remaining the same. So
recommended, combination of strategies which you can use.
Right. So what it is showing you is, okay, just 1 minute. Huh? Okay, so what I was just trying to say is,
roughly how many more minutes to go for your lecture? Roughly?
I don't know, or maybe we can pause and take it later.
No, I'm just asking.
And normally up to 1:30.
Yeah,
so maybe another half an hour. Another half an hour.
And at the end of the lecture, are you sharing the so-called Holy Grail strategy?
Yeah, so you will realize, like, whether it's a Holy Grail strategy or not, I cannot say, but it would be some logical calculations which I would be sharing.
Okay.
Anyways, it would be recorded. So if you have something very urgent, you can go. That's not an issue.
Ma'am, one question.
Yeah.
In column F, you are saying X plus Y, the strategy X and plus Y. Can we merge 2 strategies?
Yeah, so the way I spoke, right? Say, for example, here also we have seen Like if you have 1 lakh, you can keep half capital, 50,000, 50,000 that way. So the way I told you, right, I have 4 different accounts. So in 4 different accounts, I will have 4 different strategies running. And then you have to make sure that one strategy is negatively correlated or uncorrelated to the other strategy. So I will just tell you about it. So what we have just seen is, if you are good at maths and if you are able to get those negatively uncorrelated strategies, if you have a basket of strategies, you can keep your risk the same and you can still increase your reward. The way we have seen here, right? My risk is still 3,000, but if I just go for Y strategy, the reward is coming 4,500 only. But if I do an X plus Y, my reward is going to 18,000. So this is known as strategy optimization, or you can say capital diversification also. So you diversify in such a way that you put in multiple uncorrelated strategies. So there is a formula for correlation, they say. So this is Corel. And if I have to do strategy X, this is strategy X data which I have, comma, this is the data of strategy Y. And I close it. Okay, so it is showing me X plus Y strategy is 0.22% correlated. Okay, so correlation value can vary from +1 to -1. If the value is more than 0.5, plus 0.5, then those strategies are positively correlated and you should not deploy it, because when one is giving you profit, the other will also give profit. When one is giving you loss, the other will also give loss. So that it doesn't make sense in diversification in that way. So, and now we will see for strategy Z. Okay, now we will see the other strategies correlation. Corel, and I'm taking strategy Y data with the strategy Z data.
First time this shows me. I'm hearing first time this correlation the formula. पूरा engineering कर लिया राजेश्वर जी, अपन ने सुना ही नहीं कभी है.
Okay, now I'm doing strategy.
ये मैं पढ़ाया जाता था आज को.
And strategy Z
ज्यादा है.
0.95. Okay.
Your statistics.
Okay, so what this is showing me?
Yeah.
I can see from here also कि strategy Z plus X अगर मैं लेती हूँ तो मेरा max loss बढ़ जाता है. Why? Because it is showing me strategy almost 1 के पास है, right? +1 to -1 में it is coming close to 1. It means कि it is very much correlated to each other.
Strongly correlated.
हाँ, तो आपको ऐसे strategy दो ढूंढनी है which is negatively correlated to each other. You have to deploy that. तो I can give you some example. Say for example, अगर आप iron condor या iron fly, straddle strangle, whatever you are doing, okay, all of these are negative. So all of these are will give you loss, right? If the vega increases or if the volatility increases. So you can have one calendar also, maybe a put calendar. You can have, so why? Because put calendar is having a positive vega. So whenever the volatility will increase, if the straddle strangles will give you loss, at least this thing will go ahead and give you profits. The put calendars will go ahead and give you profit. So that way, because one is positive vega, another is negative vega, right? So these two are a little uncorrelated strategies. So this correlation, see, either you have to have a lot of data and then you can find out correlation, or in stock mock also they have a basket feature. Like you have multiple strategies, then you put a basket of strategies, you go on stock mock and you check it, how much correlated it is, and how the strategy is performing individually and how it is performing as a basket. So even that is possible. I haven't gone to stock mock and all. I generally go on logics. I don't go into a lot of data churning, but I just wanted to tell you, like when we see with adjustments, right? If you go with adjustment, see, if you deploy only maybe iron fly or straddle or something, and you go for adjustment, then your profit will, if you want to reduce your loss, your profit will also reduce. But what would be a better option? That you have one iron fly, you have one more some other strategy, and both should be negatively correlated. So what will happen if one is giving you loss? At least the other one will give you profit, right? So one way is adjustment. The other way can be diversification in two different strategies. So you can have permutation combination of anything. Only thing is don't go all in.
Or you can have, like Kothari sir's RDA SC system with different negatively correlated stocks.
Right. That's what I was telling. So, okay, just a minute. You continue. I'll just take a 5 minutes break. I'm just coming back. I'm here only, but I'll just take a break.
No problem.
Yeah.
No issue.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
सॉरी सर,
हाँ
अपनी पूरी इंजीनियरिंग बेकार गई, PhD कर दी मैडम ने।
हाँ, अरे बाप रे, मैं तो मतलब आई एम रियली सरप्राइज्ड।
ये पूरे सब ऑपरेटर को धोने वाला है।
मैं तो सब
कोई ऑपरेटर बचने वाला नहीं है।
सर जी, ये कोठारी जी, ये जो स्टैटिस्टिक्स का कैलकुलेशन है ना पूरा, ये हम लोग प्रॉप पे जो सिस्टम्स डिजाइन करते हैं ना, उसमें ये सब कुछ यूज करते हैं, बिकॉज प्रॉप में पूरी टीम को हमको ट्रेड कराना रहता है।
अच्छा।
तो मल्टीपल स्ट्रेटेजी सबको करानी है उसके पोर्टफोलियो के साइज के हिसाब से। तो सबका एक्सपेक्टेंसी, सबका कोरिलेशन, नेगेटिव कोरिलेशन, सब कुछ कैलकुलेट करके फिर स्ट्रेटेजी डिप्लॉय करवाते हैं उसकी कैपिटल साइज के हिसाब से।
अच्छा।
तो सबका पॉजिटिव एक्सपेक्टेंसी आना चाहिए, और समझो छोटे कैपिटल वाला बड़े कैपिटल वाले के हिसाब से अगर स्ट्रेटेजीज डालेगा तो वो कभी जीत ही नहीं पाएगा।
अच्छा।
तो ये सारी कैलकुलेशंस हर एक के लिए उसकी कैपिटल डिप्लॉय करने से पहले करते हैं हम लोग।
अच्छा, पर ये तो हमने कभी सोचा ही नहीं, देखा ही नहीं तो मैंने कभी तो।
नहीं सर, ये स्टैटिस्टिक्स तो इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, बिकॉज बेसिकली क्या है कि पूरा सब कुछ जितना भी ट्रेड का आउटकम है वो रैंडम है। हमारे जितने भी ट्रेड्स है उसका आउटकम रैंडम है।
और यार इसका मास्टरी देखो, ये कीर्ति का मास्टरी देखो, मतलब शी इज रियली, मतलब
नहीं, शी इज एक्सप्लेनिंग इट वेरी वेल। बहुत अच्छी तरीके से जा रहे हैं वो, बहुत
वेरी वेल। मतलब ये एज में, एज कितना है ये एज में?
शी मस्ट बी अराउंड 20, अराउंड 30 की होगी वो, 30 से ज्यादा की नहीं।
आप मार्क डगलस को पढ़ो, ट्रेडिंग इन द जोन। व्हाट ही सेज इज, आप अलेक्जेंडर एलेक्स को सुनो, व्हाट दे से इज कि आपके सब ट्रेड्स का आउटकम बिल्कुल रैंडम है। आपको हर ट्रेड को इंडिविजुअल ट्रीट करना है। तो जब रैंडम आउटकम है तो दिस इज द ओनली वे यू कैन मेक आउट कि आप कैसे पॉजिटिव रहोगे एंड ऑफ द मंथ और एंड ऑफ द क्वार्टर।
राइट। नहीं, ये इंडियन मार्केट को मतलब बहुत चैलेंजिंग होते जा रहा है। ये इसका एग्जांपल सही है। मतलब नेक्स्ट 5-10 इयर्स में।
अरे तो अभी तो है ना, सारे लोग लग गए हैं ना, IIT IIM के सब लोग इसमें घुसे हुए हैं।
MBA स्टूडेंट लोग घुस गए हैं, इंजीनियर घुस गए हैं।
IIT IIM के सब लड़के घुसे हुए हैं इसके अंदर आजकल।
इसीलिए स्ट्रेटेजी बनती जाती है, दे स्टडी हार्ड।
मुश्किल है।
अब अपन लोग रिटायर्ड आदमी खाली बैठ के खा रहे
हैं। अपन लोग तो कवर्ड कॉल वाले लोग हैं, कवर्ड कॉल।
हाँ, कवर्ड कॉल वाले, तुक्का नहीं चलेगा।
नहीं, बट मैंने देखा ये अपना
का गेम है पूरा।
ये अपना RDSE वाला देखो, इसमें काफी स्कोप नजर आ रहा है मेरे को, बहुत स्कोप है क्योंकि इसमें अगर डाइवर्सिफाई कर दोगे ना आप स्टॉक्स को, जैसे वो बता रहे जो आपने 12 प्लेयर या 10 प्लेयर लेके करो, तो मेरे हिसाब से इसमें अच्छा खासा रिटर्न आएगा।
क्योंकि देखिए कई बार मार्केट को ये ऑपरेटर जो प्ले करते हैं ना, उसमें अपन लोग फंसते भी हैं।
हाँ, अरे वो तो छोटे मोटे स्टॉक तो फंसते ही है, सही बात है,
फंसते ही है। जैसे कल ही था, इन्फोसिस रिजल्ट के बाद सवेरे माइनस पे ला दिए विप्रो को, TCS सबको, और बाद में सेकंड हाफ में बैंक को चढ़ा दिए, सब चढ़ा दिए लोग।
अरे आप रिलायंस को देखो ना, रिलायंस को 2600 से लेके कहाँ पे लेके आ गए, 2450 पे लेके आके खड़ा कर दिया इसको।
TCS का हो गया 75 रुपीज डिविडेंड हो गया है, और ये प्राइस सेटअप हो गया है ICICI 75 रुपीज माइनस से फ्यूचर सेट हो गया।
So I have come back. I will just keep my video off and we'll still continue.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I was just listening. So I'm 32, by the way.
Okay.
So okay. So this
हमारे
is.
बेटे का एज क्या है?
Yeah. Thanks. So this is and more around this strategy, optimization or correlation and this stuff. तो मैंने ना वो IT जगन का ही सुना था, like he has a basket of strategies, और वो कैसे करते हैं, like maybe 5 लाख या 10 लाख में 3 या 4 अलग अलग strategies रहती है उसकी, and then he shoots multiple baskets that way, तो उसका slippage भी थोड़ा कम हो जाता है। Then he says he reutilizes the capital and some things like that. मतलब मुझे वो थोड़ा मैंने उसका कोई वेबिनार सेमिनार वगैरह ऐसे कुछ अटेंड नहीं किया है, but whatever he says on YouTube and things like that ना, I generally go and try to dig in a little around that, and I feel he is very.
मैम आपको इंटरप्ट करता हूँ। जगन सर का I know his working style। उन्होंने क्या किया, 25 लाख रुपए के बास्केट बनाए हैं।
राइट।
कोठारी जी वो 5-5.5-6 करोड़ रुपए पे ट्रेड करता है। एंड व्हाट ही हैज डन इज 25 लाख रुपए का बास्केट बनाया है। वो जो भी डिजाइन करेंगे वो 25 लाख रुपए के बास्केट पे करेंगे, ट्रेड भी 25 लाख रुपए के बास्केट पे डालेंगे। बाकी जो बास्केट्स हैं 6 करोड़ में अराउंड 24 या 25 बास्केट बनेंगे, वो बास्केट कॉपी ट्रेड करेंगे एक ही बास्केट को जो 25 लाख का उनका बास्केट है।
अच्छा,
तो अब इसका साइकोलॉजिकल इफेक्ट आप देखो, आप 5 करोड़ के M2M को देखोगे तो कोई भी आदमी हिलता जाएगा, मतलब प्रॉफिट और लॉस को देख के हिलेगा M2M देख के। तो वो क्या करते हैं, 25 लाख के बास्केट का ही M2M और PNL देखते हैं एंड बाकी तो वो मल्टीप्लाई हो जाएगा। तो 25 लाख का जो M2M है ना वो थोड़ा वेरिएबल होता है।
अच्छा अच्छा।
तो साइकोलॉजिकली आदमी हिट नहीं होता है और उसको बहुत अच्छे से सिस्टमेटिकली रन करता है। तो इस तरीके से वो करते हैं। मतलब ये बहुत एक सीखने वाली बात है कि आपको आपके पूरे पोर्टफोलियो का M2M देखना ही नहीं है, वरना आप हिल जाओगे कि वो मेरे को तो 1 करोड़ का लॉस हो रहा है। वो 1 करोड़ का लॉस होगा ही नहीं, वो 25 लाख के बास्केट पे लॉस होगा। तो आप सिस्टम ट्रेड कर पाओगे, वरना सिस्टम ट्रेड ऐसी बला है कि उसको आप अगर पूरे पोर्टफोलियो पे एक साथ देखोगे ना तो आप बीच में ही ट्रेड काट दोगे, आप रन ही नहीं करोगे ट्रेड को।
तो बास्केट कैसे बनाते हैं वो? बास्केट को हर बास्केट में डिफरेंट स्ट्रेटेजी डालते हैं क्या?
अकाउंट नहीं, एक समझो उन्होंने 4 स्ट्रेटेजी डिप्लॉय की है। जैसे वो स्ट्रेडल्स करते हैं डेली, फ्राइडे को वो स्ट्रेटेजीज नहीं डिप्लॉय करते हैं स्ट्रेडल्स की। मंडे, ट्यूसडे, वेडनेसडे, थर्सडे वो 8 से 10 स्ट्रेडल्स करते हैं अलग अलग टाइम पे, और थर्सडे को वो 13 से 15 स्ट्रेडल करते हैं अलग अलग टाइम पे।
अच्छा।
और वो एक 25 लाख के बास्केट में डाल देते हैं, बाकी के बास्केट्स वो बास्केट को कॉपी कर लेते हैं। तो होगा क्या कि M2M जो भी दिखेगा वो 25 लाख के बास्केट का दिखेगा, तो आप उसको रन कर पाओगे। वरना M2M बड़ा दिखेगा तो आप बीच में काट दोगे, आप उसको रन ही नहीं करोगे पूरा दिन।
उनका यूट्यूब है क्या, कुछ वीडियो है क्या उसके ऊपर?
हाँ, उनके वीडियोस हैं। मतलब मैं
जगन करके कैपिटल जोन करके यूट्यूब चैनल का नाम है उनका।
वो देखा मैंने कैपिटल जोन का, बट उसमें ये इसके ऊपर वीडियो है क्या एक बास्केट वाले फंड आते हैं?
नहीं सर, वो आई नो हिम पर्सनली,
कोडेड है थोड़ा सा, मतलब उनके
आई नो हिम पर्सनली, इसके लिए मुझे पता है। वो ये सब उन्होंने यूट्यूब पे तो नहीं डाला हुआ है, बट आई नो हिम पर्सनली, तो मुझे पता है वो कैसे करते हैं
यूट्यूब पे एक्सप्लिसिटली। बट ऐसा थोड़ा सा थोड़े हिंट्स आपको हर एक वीडियो से कुछ मिल जाएंगे वैसे।
अच्छा, ओके चलिए, ओके गो अहेड।
मैम कंटिन्यू करिए।
Yeah, so we just spoke, मतलब you can have multiple strategies. So either you can have one strategy. If you have only one, then you have an exit route or have a proper position sizing, or at least do adjustments. If not, then you have a basket of multiple uncorrelated strategies. Now we will go to the further slides. Okay, so this we have just seen whether multiple strategies will work better or a single strategy. Multiple will work better, but only when they are negatively correlated or uncorrelated, we can say. So wo ho gaya. Now let's go to trading psychology. So we are seeing, these are, now we have last few slides. It will not take much time for each slide. But just some thoughts. So this is for law of large numbers to work. You need to stick to a system for at least 100 plus or 500 plus trades. वरना आपको ट्रू सेंस में पता ही नहीं चलेगा कि how much is the profit probability and things like that. So for the law of large numbers to work, you have to stick to one strategy. Even if you have 10 losing streaks in a row, you have seen that it still can be a 60% probability of profit system, right? So you have to stick to it. But matlab, if you have 10 losing streaks in a row, how you can stick to it? Then your position sizing will help you, right? If you are starting with any new strategy, keep your position sizing to 1 or 2 lots only till you are very comfortable and confident. Then you can increase it. Next, whenever you are, in profits and you go on taking multiple trades because you think today is my day. So it said that when you are in profits, your ego will hit the upper circuit, and when you are in losses, your confidence will hit the lower circuit. So in both of these scenarios, you should never trade. You should only trade when you have a sweet balance between, a positive and a negative balance, like when you are practical and you can think practically. So this is other thing. Then whenever you are in losses, you will generally go in fight or flight mode. So it's like your body cannot perceive the difference between a physical, emotion or a mental, like physically, if you are having a threat in front of you or it is just an emotional threat, it cannot perceive, and in both the cases you freeze. It's like, if you see like one tiger maybe in front of you, you will run. At least you can do that. But if you see 3-4 together, you cannot run, right? You will freeze there only because you will think there's no point in running. So similar thing happens in case of losses. when the loss is bearable, if you have decided, say maybe 10,000 is your max loss limit, if you see that, you will exit. But if you let it, okay, if you wait on hope, if it becomes 20,000, now you cannot exit because you had planned only 10,000. Then it becomes 20, 30, 40, 50, it will go on increasing and you have no exit point because what you had planned is only 10,000. So that time your body cannot take rational decision. So that's why it is said like you fix a maximum loss limit, maybe 1% of capital, 2% or something like that. And at that point you just get out, because after that you will lose control on yourself and you will get emotionally attached to the trade and you will not be able to come out of the trade. So that's why you should, not let your trade run to that point. And this is where the trading psychology will come in. So you should cut your losses before you are emotionally attached or they are too big and you cannot cut it. Then, so this we have seen what happens if you land at that place, but how to avoid going to that place is you should have a position sizing or risk management in place, or you should have a basket of strategy or things like that. The strategy should suit your psychology. So what I say is like trading is not actually knowing what the market will do, but it's knowing what you will do when market takes that move, whether it's favorable or unfavorable. Like whether if it's favorable, you can do some adjustment, increase your max profit. If it's not favorable, how you will reduce your loss. So trading, rather than knowing the markets, it's more about knowing yourself and what system suits you and knowing what you will do when market makes that move. So that's about trading psychology. Then on the next slide, so this we say like if it's a business, then you should have a business plan and you should always plan your trade and then you should just go ahead and trade that plan. So this will avoid you taking any random trades. That's why I just say that strategy is just 10%. Having said that, it obviously should have a positive expectancy. Otherwise, irrespective of anything you do, you cannot come in profits. So strategy, the only thing that is expected from a strategy is that it should have a positive expectancy. Then your risk management and position sizing will play 40% role, and remaining trading psychology and discipline. Discipline we say because you need to take maybe 100 or 500 trades on that specific strategy to realize the true profit potential and to actually land in profits. So we always focus only on strategy, right? But apart from strategy, there are many other things which are at play and which we just saw today through multiple slides. So that about it. Then we should be prepared for the worst. So we have seen like in Nifty, there were back-to-back two upper circuits, right? During election time once. And sometimes in Corona, we have seen there are lower circuits also. So we should be prepared for the worst. In intraday, what worse can happen is there can be a flash crash. It had happened in the US stock exchange, or we have seen the Nirmala Sitharaman candle, or someday, if some war suddenly happens. So this can be the intraday risks which are at play. Then in overnight, there can be index freeze, there can be any stock crash. So we should be prepared for all of this. This will be once in a lifetime event. Obviously, they will not happen every time, but if they happen even once in lifetime and you are caught in that, your entire capital is wiped off, then it's of no use, right? So what helps me, say for example, if I have 4 different accounts or 4 have negatively correlated strategies or something, and if something of this sort happens, if my one account gets wiped off also, at least my other 3 accounts are safe, right? So that's the whole purpose. Like you should diversify.
Things that the world hasn't understood, things that
Sorry?
Yeah, we continue.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, so we just spoke about this. Overnight, if you are going, you always have. So what I generally follow, if I go overnight, I always have a hedge in place because overnight there's no way to keep an SL. If I go intraday, okay, if I go for some option selling, at least as at a worst case scenario, you can, put a stop loss at maybe 100% of the option sell. Even if it's a straddle, it is partially hedged. It is not completely hedged. Even if it's a straddle, you are selling both call and put at 100 rupees. At least go in the system and put a stop loss at 200. I generally don't put market stop loss. I put a limit, but then I'll put at 200 and 205 or 210, something like that, to give a 5-10 rupees buffer that will make sure that my SL doesn't jump. So in intraday, you can keep this. So suddenly if you are going, taking a loo break or something, and if that Nirmala Sitharaman candle happens, at least you are safe. So in intraday, you can keep things like that. In overnight, you can always go hedged. Already we see, like if we are buying one lot of Nifty or selling, they take maybe 1.1 or 1.5 lakh margin. But the notional value of one lot of Nifty is around 9 lakhs, right? Like if you have to buy it in cash, it will be around 9 lakh. So you are already leveraged. Now sometimes what people will do, they will again buy hedges, and they will reduce that 1.5 lakh also. So leverage is always a double-edged sword. It will increase your this thing profit potential, but it will also increase your loss potential. So you have to be very careful when you are going for leverage. So markets will always be there, we know, but whether we will survive and whether our capital will survive till that time is something we should be very careful of. That's why we just spoke, like you should take it as a test match and be in the game. Whenever you get loose balls, you can definitely play it out. But if you play like a T20 and lose your wicket, then there's no point. So be always practical. Don't be positive or negative, but be practical. Like only then you can make rational decisions. And one event is enough to take all your time that you have invested, all the money, all the confidence, and then you will not have anything to bet further. So this we just discussed. So this, I always say, like capital preservation and having a discipline, these are the two things which should be your prime focus. So okay, so the way we spoke, like what I generally do is one account I can keep for intraday, 1 or 2 accounts, and the remaining 2 accounts I can keep for positional. So just a minute. Okay, so in intraday also, while I'm going, I will have a non-directional trade going in one account. I generally have strangles. Sometimes I have straddles, but very rarely. Generally, I have strangles, and then I go on managing the strangles. I go and manage them only while they are in a specific range. Once it gets out of the range, I get out, or I have a stop loss, maybe say X percentage of my capital. After adjustments also, if that stop loss hit, I'll go out. So this can be one intraday option, strategy. Other, you can also have a directional strategy, directional option selling you can have in one of the accounts. So again, in non-directional, you can have diversification, like say, for example, you can have in Nifty or Bank Nifty or something like that. If you are doing a directional selling also, you can have multiple directional selling strategies in that. So, or buying or whatever is your strategy. So the only point is, say, for example, if you take a 10 lakh rupees capital and you keep a stop loss as 10,000 rupees, or that is, okay, so you keep 10,000 rupees, which is 1% of your capital, right? And you decide that you are going to take 4 trades in a day, and among that 4 trades, it will be like 2.5 thousand rupees will be your max loss per trade if you are doing intraday. So what will happen if all your 4 trades go into loss? You will lose 10,000 rupees and you shut down your system for that day. Okay, and what will happen, say for example, if 2 of your trades go right and 2 go wrong, but if you have a 1:2 risk reward, right? If 2 trades will go wrong, that will take away 5,000. If 2 go right at a 1:2 risk reward, that will give you 10,000. So 10,000 minus 5,000, you will still be at net 5,000 rupees profit, right? So that way, so you should have at least 2, 3, or maybe max 4 different strategies which you are going to do in intraday, and then you keep a strategy level stop loss, like this is the max stop loss, have your risk reward in favor, so that way your probability of making profit will increase. Then when you are going for positional, so generally in index options I have iron flies at times. So you can have 1 or 2 index option strategies, maybe iron fly in something, maybe a credit spread in something else. And in stocks, if you are going for maybe RCDS or whatever, short straddle also, whatever you are doing, but have then multiple stocks in your portfolio, right? Because if something goes wrong with one stock, it will not go wrong with the other stock. So these are all the ways in which you can do diversification and you can reduce your risk. In positional, then index options, you can also have calendars. Why? Because that is a positive vega. While others are negative vega, that's a positive vega. So if the volatility increases, at least that calendars will give you profit. So this way you can plan how you have to go ahead, but don't go all in on any one strategy. Have a proper diversification in place and have a basket in place. So keep your risk reward in favor so that even if you lose half of the time, you will still end profitable after all the brokerage taxes and other things. With many bets, the way we just spoke, we will not take only one or two trades, we'll at least take 4 different. So with many bets, you can increase the probability of winning, and at least if half of them go right and you have a 1:2 risk reward, you will still be net profitable. You have to treat everything as a team, okay, and not as an individual strategy. Then what can be the types of diversification that you can have? You can have a segment level diversification, means you are trading in maybe index, commodity, and then currency that way. You can have an instrument level diversification, like if you are doing stocks, then you can do multiple different stocks. Then sector wise, like if you are taking stocks, say for example for RCDS, then you can take one stock from the banking sector, other you can take from IT, the other you can take from maybe FMCG sector and things like that. So what will happen is, see if there is one government policy or if something changes, so at least if one sector is affected, the other isn't affected. So that way you can have a sector wise diversification. You can have a strategy level diversification also, like maybe you can have a non-directional iron fly, and you can have other strategy which is a directional strategy maybe. So like for example in Nifty, if you have a directional in Bank Nifty, you probably go non-directional. If you go non-directional in both, then it will become positively correlated. So something like that you can plan. Then you can have a time-wise diversification. So there was one trader about whom I had heard, Santosh Pasi. So what he does is he takes an iron condor every day, because the market will be at different place every day. So the center of his condor will be will vary, right? So he will take an iron condor every day and then he will go on managing it. So if your strategy is same, at least you have that time diversification in place, that you do it every day, or you do what I can say, you do one strategy in monthly, you do the same strategy in weekly or something like that. So have a time diversification in place. Like some people who do intraday, what they do, they will enter one straddle at 10. Then again, they will see ATM enter another straddle at ATM at 11. Again, they will enter another straddle at 12, something like that. Okay, so that is a time diversification. The strategy is same, but the time is different. You can have a geographical diversification wherein you can invest in different, geographies, so that if something goes wrong with India, at least in US you will earn something. So that can be one diversification. You can have account level, the way I mentioned, you can keep separate accounts for positional and intraday and make sure that you run uncorrelated strategy in each account. So you can have the positive and negative Vega diversification, which we talked about. Like most option selling strategies will get harm if the Vega increases. So at least the calendars will give you profit when the Vega increases. You can have a bullish and a bearish bias. Say for example, if you go for RCDS strategy in multiple stocks, we can select both a mix of weak stocks and strong stocks, and from different sectors. So what will happen? Say for example, if Nifty suddenly turns bullish, okay, at least those bullish stocks might give you some profit or something like that, and the bearish stocks will give you maybe some loss. But what happens if you are, if you have all the stocks which are bullish, and if Nifty turns bearish, then all your bullish strategies will go for a toss, right? So when you are taking multiple stocks or something like that, what you can do is identify both strong and weak stocks, and then have RCDS in that. You can take a slightly directional RCDS also if you want, but that will make sure, like at least if the Nifty goes suddenly too much up or too much down, at least out of those, maybe if you have a team of 11, at least those 5-6 will be in your favor. If the other 5-6 are not, and you will be net profitable that way. If you select only strong and suddenly Nifty falls and all of them fall, then it will go for a toss. So yeah, am I making sense? Are you still there?
Yes, very much, madam.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Very much interesting, ma'am.
Yeah.
Kirti,
Okay.
you are going very good.
Yeah, thank you.
Keep it up. Keep it up.
Yeah. So okay.
We are patiently listening to you.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, so that is one. I'll just come now online. Yeah, so this was other diversification which we just spoke. Then how you can increase the returns. Okay, So one is, what I generally do is I mostly do option selling the way I told, because I realized that I am only good at that because I'm not good at identifying directions. So in option selling, there is one benefit you have, that you just have to gauge where the market will not go, right? So even if you know that much, you can still make money. So that's why I do option selling. What you can do is, rather than trading from actual money, you can trade from the margin money. So I generally buy whatever, like liquid V's or mutual funds, or you can buy sovereign gold bonds. Buy something and use the funds from that for trading. So it helps in two ways. One is, actually you don't see a cash lying in your account, you know. वरना वो कभी कभी खुजली होती है कि पैसे है तो कुछ तो ट्रेड लेना है, तो that will not happen because all your money will be blocked in the margin. Second thing which also happens is like, at least if you're not trading for few days, some returns is coming from that margin money. Even if a saving bank kind of return is coming, it is still fine, right? Something is better than nothing. So at least you will get something out of that. So that is one way. Second is, say for example, the way I discussed, like if I want to put one iron fly, I'll keep 5 lakh capital for one iron fly. But actually iron fly needs only 55,000. So I am still having that 4.45 lakh remaining with me, right? So what I'll do of that 4.45 lakh? So I have some low risk strategies. So I will put that 4.45 lakh in that low risk strategies. So what will happen is, say for example, if that low risk strategy gives me 1 or 2,000 also, and if my iron fly takes away all the 4-5,000, I'm still minus 4,500, and plus I'm getting maybe 2,000 from this low risk strategy. Then I am at a net loss of only 2.5k versus actual 5k which I would have had from the iron fly. So this is also something which you can plan. Then you can do hedging, and this I always do. Obviously, it will increase your return. It will also reduce your risk and many other benefits. It will give you a peaceful sleep, which is most important. So then what you can also do is, so I do a little bit of commodity. I have started from some time. So generally when I trade intraday, right, and that capital is idle, that is sitting idle, only next morning I'll be using it because I won't be taking overnight trade from that capital. So that capital is lying idle. So I have some strategy around the commodity, which I can do in the evening. So that is approximately from 8 o'clock till 11:30 something. So generally on an average, it gives 3 to 4% a month, and I'm happy with that. So what will happen is, say for example, during the day, like with that intraday capital, if I'm making 3%, and again in the evening, I'm using the same capital and making another 3% in commodity, then net on a monthly basis, I'll still make 6%, right? 3% plus 3%. So my capital is getting reutilized. My risk is still, I'm managing, but my return is increasing. So that way you can do reutilization of capital for increasing returns. So sometimes we have, covered call, or we do cash secured put or things like that. So we keep idle funds. So again, these idle funds we can use in some low risk trades, or we can use for commodity intraday and stuff like that. So again, that will help you to increase the return a little. So yeah. So any questions till now on whatever we have discussed?
मैडम अब तो रात को 11 बजे तक काम करवाओगे?
नहीं सर, टाइम ही नहीं देखा. Okay, I think हो गया है almost.
नहीं आपने जो बोला ना कि कमोडिटी में भी करना है.
कमोडिटी में नहीं सर, वो तो पीसफुल है थोड़ा सा. मतलब मैंने वो देखा था, क्योंकि जैसे अभी मेरा तो अभी मैटरनिटी लीव है तो ठीक है, बट ऑफिस स्टार्ट होने के बाद टाइम नहीं मिलेगा ना. तो आई वाज सर्चिंग फॉर समथिंग कि स्क्रीन टाइम कम रहे और ऐसे कुछ अच्छा स्ट्रेटजी मिले जिससे कुछ तो आता रहे. दैट वे.
तो वो कमोडिटी ट्रेडिंग में भी आपको कुछ मिला है क्या, जो कि मतलब काफी रिस्क फ्री हो?
हाँ, मैं वही बोल रही थी. मतलब अब तक तो मुझे वो कमोडिटी ट्रेडिंग में ही थोड़ा अच्छा रिस्क फ्री वाला स्ट्रैटेजी मिला है. इंट्राडे में तो ये निफ्टी बैंक निफ्टी वगैरह करती हूँ मैं, बट कभी कभी इतना मैनिपुलेशन हो जाता है ना. लास्ट कुछ दिनों में हमने देखा है, एक कैंडल 300 पॉइंट ऊपर जाएगी, दूसरी 300 पॉइंट नीचे जाएगी. कमोडिटी में वो एक बेनिफिट क्या है ना, इट इज ग्लोबल, तो मैनिपुलेशन बहुत डिफिकल्ट होता है वहां पे थोड़ा. कमोडिटी में ये सबसे ज्यादा प्रॉब्लमेटिक तो नेचुरल गैस है. मतलब वो तो पागल के जैसे मतलब आई ट्रीट इट एज अ मैड डॉग. वो कभी एक ही दिन में
एक
ही दिन में वो अपर सर्किट भी मारेगा और उसी दिन पे लोअर सर्किट भी मारेगा. आई डोंट नो व्हाट चेंजेस फंडामेंटली कि इतना वो मूव करता है. So I am away from natural gas. Generally this strategy is around crude, which I have found. So वैसे तो so what is my focus is generally I keep finding some low risk strategies ताकि स्लीप थोड़ा पीसफुल रहे. और वो जो हमने पहले इक्विटी कर्व देखा था ना, इवन इफ यू आर वेरी एग्रेसिव, नेट में वो जाके ना इवन आउट हो ही जाता है. So that's why I feel having low risk strategies is always better. I am not that aggressive kind of person. That's why.
नहीं, commodity में which is preferred? कौन सा item?
I generally prefer crude. I don't know about others much because I don't track it. I generally prefer crude.
Okay.
crude में day volatility रहती है, मिल जाता है ना गैप.
हाँ, मतलब उसमें कुछ ऐसे ही अराउंड थीटा ही है उसका स्ट्रैटेजी भी, बट वो थोड़ा पीसफुल है क्योंकि वहां पे मैनिपुलेशन वगैरह नहीं होता है एंड डीके भी अच्छा खासा होता है.
अच्छा, तो उसमें भी ऑप्शंस होते हैं क्या? ऑप्शन करते हैं उसमें भी?
हाँ, क्रूड में भी ऑप्शंस होते हैं. अभी क्रूड के ऑप्शंस के टर्नओवर्स तो काफी बढ़ रहे हैं. लाइक इट इज हिटिंग इन न्यूज़ मेनी अ टाइम्स कि क्रूड पे ऑप्शंस के
तुम्हारा आरडीसीएस वहां भी काम करेगा क्या?
आरडीसीएस तो देखना पड़ेगा.
मैडम वो भी सिखा दो अभी, क्रूड का भी.
नहीं अभी नहीं, उसके लिए नेक्स्ट क्लास लेंगे, नेक्स्ट क्लास. चलिए आगे चलिए मैडम.
हाँ राइट, हाँ ठीक है. So these are the ways of increasing return. तो Holy Grail system, so I will just give you some idea. It is very, what you will think, it is very childish or something, but it can still work. ठीक है. तो okay, so once you enter any trade or once market will open, directionally हम लोग देखेंगे तो क्या क्या possibilities है इसमें. Like what do you think?
5 possibilities ना, market can go.
Right. तो वही 5 है. एक तो उधर ही रहेगा, घूमता रहेगा. It will be mild bullish, it will be ultra bullish, it will be mild bearish, it will be ultra bearish. ठीक है. तो अभी ये 5 possibilities है. ठीक है. अगर आपको डायरेक्शन भी पता नहीं है, just assume. ठीक है. आप आते हो सुबह कॉइन टॉस करते हो. कॉइन टॉस में वी हैव सीन लाइक इफ यू हैव लॉ ऑफ लार्ज नंबर्स इन प्लेस तो 50% प्रोबेबिलिटी है. ठीक है. इफ यू कम, यू टॉस अ कॉइन, यू से अगर हेड्स आया तो आई विल बाय, तो आई विल बी बुलिश. अगर टेल्स आया तो आई विल बी बेरिश. जस्ट अज्यूम दैट. ठीक है. इफ इट कम्स अ हेड एंड यू थिंक यू आर गोइंग टू लॉन्ग ऑन निफ्टी. ठीक है. नाउ इफ यू डू इट वाया ऑप्शन बाइंग, व्हाट विल हैपन? अगर माय ऑप्शन बाइंग में करेंगे तो अल्ट्रा बुलिश होगा, तब भी आपको पैसा मिलेगा बिकॉज द ऑप्शन वैल्यू विल इंक्रीज. If it will be mild bullish, still you cannot make, क्योंकि वो थीटा खा जाएगा अगर थोड़ा बहुत जो प्रीमियम बढ़ेगा वो. अगर उधर ही रहा तो definitely you will not make, and अगर bearish हो गया तो obviously you are going to lose. ठीक है. Now you go for an option selling. So what will happen is you decide to long Nifty. Now if Nifty remains there, you will still earn because there will be theta in your favor. If Nifty becomes mild bullish, you will still earn because theta फेवर में है. अभी डेल्टा भी फेवर में आ गया. इफ इट बिकम्स अल्ट्रा बुलिश, यू विल डेफिनेटली अर्न क्योंकि पुट की वैल्यू एकदम जोरदार गिरेगी. इफ इट बिकम्स माइल्ड बेरिश, यू कैन स्टिल बी एट ब्रेक इवन बिकॉज अगर थोड़ा बहुत पुट का प्रीमियम बढ़ा भी तो वो एंड ऑफ डे तक थीटा खा जाएगा उसको. तो वॉट एवर पुट यू हैव सोल्ड, इट विल स्टिल बी एट द सेम प्लेस. सो हियर यू कैन स्टिल बी एट ब्रेक इवन. ओनली इफ इट बिकम्स अल्ट्रा बेरिश यू विल लूज. ठीक है. तो ये 5 सिनेरियोज में से 4 सिनेरियो में यू कैन स्टिल win if you are doing option selling. Now so this is one part that you have kept probability in your favor because there is an 80% probability कि you can go right. There is only 20% probability that you will go wrong. By option selling you have made probability in your favor. Now the second lever which we wanted to look at is, along with the probability, we want to look at risk reward. So what you can decide is, say for example, if you have decided that you will take a you will keep a stop loss at 20 points, then you decide a target as 40 points or something like that. So you make at least 1:2 risk reward system. So whenever you enter, say for example, if you are right and you make 40 points, if you are wrong, you lose only 20 points. So that way, if you maintain your risk reward also, it will become an 80% probability of profit system with a 20% risk reward. Okay, तो फिर अगर हम लोग अपने स्लाइड में देखेंगे so how much will that give us? Say for example this, okay, it will be an 80% probability of system and with a 1:2 risk reward. अगर हम लोग देखेंगे तो क्या आएगा? It will be a 1.4 expectancy system. So which is very good, right? Obviously we will not land there, but I'm just giving an idea कि इतना simple चीज भी कैसे बना सकता है. So that's why those traders say, you know, like keep it simple most of the times, only that things will work in the market. You keep this risk reward and the win rate in your favor, and then the strategy is nothing. Like even if you come, you do a coin toss, you can still use that as a strategy and that will fetch you returns. Did you all get like what I was trying to say in this?
Brilliant. एक चीज पूछना था. हेलो.
नहीं, एक मिनट खत्म करने दो, पहले खत्म करने दो.
इसका टाइमिंग का भी कुछ रहता है क्या कि 12 से 1 बजे से 2 बजे मार्केट वोलेटाइल
तो
रहता है?
देखो ये कैसे बोलते हैं ना, जनरली मैंने जितना ऑब्जर्व किया है, जैसे 12:30 के अराउंड यूरोप ओपन होता है ना, तो तब थोड़ा सा वोलेटिलिटी आ जाता है. फिर एक तो सुबह आई अवॉइड लाइक बिफोर 9:30 और 9:45 आई अवॉइड टेकिंग ट्रेड्स. बट जैसे डे हाई या डे लो ब्रीच होता है तो पीपल यू नो टेक ट्रेड इन दैट डायरेक्शन, तो वो भी एक पॉसिबिलिटी है. फिर 12:30 के अराउंड जब यूरोप ओपन होता है तब डायरेक्शन चेंज होने का पॉसिबिलिटी है. एंड लेटली लाइक आफ्टर 2:30 जैसे ये FI DI का बाइंग सेलिंग शुरू हो जाता है ना, तब थोड़ा सा डायरेक्शनली चेंज होने का पॉसिबिलिटी होता है.
और 3 से 3:30 के बीच में भी होता है क्या?
वो तो एक्चुअली कभी कभी हो सकता है. जैसे अभी लास्ट एक्सपायरी पे ही कभी देखा था ना हमने, एकदम 3 बजे के बाद जाके वो 100-200 पॉइंट बैंक निफ्टी मूव हुआ. वो कभी कभी मैनिपुलेट करते हैं, कभी कभी हो जाता है. जनरली व्हाट आई डू इज, अगर मेरा इंट्राडे सिस्टम है, आई ट्राई टू क्लोज इट बिफोर 3, क्योंकि फिर ना लास्ट में वैसे भी 3 to 3:30 बहुत कम डीके होता है. बट अगर वो गामा मूव आ गया ना तो फिर पूरे दिन का प्रॉफिट चला जाता है. तो आई ट्राई टू क्लोज इट बिफोर 3. दिस इज व्हाट आई फॉलो.
उस समय जॉबर मार्जिन भी बढ़ जाता है ना, आपका बाइंग सेलिंग नहीं होता.
राइट. तो दैट इज देयर. तो दिस आई वाज जस्ट गिविंग यू एन आइडिया कि सिस्टम कुछ नहीं है. There are so many elements apart from the system, but we time and again we come and we just focus on the system, which should not be the case. Okay, so this was about the system. Now we just discuss like option buying versus selling. Why I prefer selling? क्योंकि उसमें probability ज़्यादा है पैसे बनाने की. Only in selling one thing you need to have is a proper stop loss, क्योंकि अगर कभी डेल्टा या गामा मूव आ गया तो मतलब पूरा कैपिटल वाइप ऑफ हो सकता है. तो जस्ट हैव अ प्रॉपर स्टॉप लॉस इन प्लेस. ठीक है. तो वी जस्ट डिस्कस कि कॉइन टॉस आके आप 50% प्रोबेबिलिटी पे खेलो, कीप योर रिस्क रिवॉर्ड इन फेवर. एंड द अदर थिंग कैन आल्सो हैपन इज, से जैसे हमने बोला था, आई विल कीप अ स्टॉप लॉस एट 20 पॉइंट्स एंड आई विल कीप अ टारगेट एट 40 पॉइंट्स. अगर वो 10 पॉइंट आपके फेवर में गया, यू गो अहेड एंड ट्रेल इट अगेन ना, तो आपका जैसे 20 पॉइंट्स का स्टॉप लॉस अभी 10 पॉइंट्स ही हो गया, because it has gone 10 points in your favor. So when you start trailing the profits, again your risk reward will improve significantly. So this is one thing again which you can add on top of your system. मायने रखता है कि क्या पहले विकेट निकालेंगे तो फिर हाँ. तो I generally I also do trailing profits. वो मुझे हेल्प करता है क्योंकि कभी कभी मार्केट डायरेक्शन सडनली चेंज हो जाता है. तो एटलीस्ट if you are in profit once, at least don't take that trade to loss. You can get out at break even, but at least don't let that land into loss. So this is about it. फिर ना कभी कभी क्या होता है, जैसे कोई लोगों के सिस्टम में ना बहुत सारे इंडिकेटर्स होते हैं, मतलब 8-10 इंडिकेटर्स वो लोग लगा देते हैं. उसमें प्रॉब्लम क्या होता है ना, मतलब ये मेरा थिंकिंग है, पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू. से फॉर एग्जाम्पल अगर आपके इसमें 8-10 इंडिकेटर्स है, तो जैसे कोई सिर्फ एक इंडिकेटर फॉलो करता होगा, उसने बाय दिया, दैट पर्सन एंटर्ड इनटू बाइंग. फिर कोई सेकंड इंडिकेटर फॉलो करता होगा, उसको सिग्नल मिला, ही एंटर्ड इनटू बाइंग. बाय द टाइम ऑल 10 इंडिकेटर्स गिव बाइंग, सब लोग बाइंग में एंटर कर चुके हैं. नाउ व्हेन ऑल 10 आर गिविंग अ बाय, यू आर एंटरिंग. जब बाकी लोग प्रॉफिट बुक करना ऑलरेडी स्टार्ट कर दिए, तो यू एंटर एंड द मार्केट रिवर्सेस. तो दैट्स व्हाई यू शुड नॉट हैव टू मेनी इंडिकेटर्स ऑल्सो. एक तो वो क्लटर कर देगा, यू कैन नॉट टेक अ डिसीजन क्विकली, क्योंकि 1-2 भी आपको सिग्नल नहीं दे रहे हैं. आप सोचेंगे कि 8 का आ गया, 2 का नहीं आया, विल वेट. By the time everybody gives you signal, you enter and then market will reverse because people have already started booking profits. So this is also something which you can keep in mind, like at least 2-3 indicators, maybe 4. मतलब कुछ momentum के लिए रख दो चाहिए तो, और कुछ direction के लिए रख दो, but not more than that. I'm not so good at chart reading. That's why I'm into option selling, the way I said. But don't have too many indicators also. So this is about it. We'll move to the next slide. Rules to follow. The very important thing which we spoke, you should have a positive expectancy system. Then you should not trade when you are extremely happy or extremely fearful or sad or something like that. Okay, thoda matlab mind stable hona chahiye, because so if you have heard interviews of cricketers, this, that, you know, these are so physically intensive games, but even then what they say, like their mind has to be stable, only then they can win, right? But trading to hum log dekhenge to it is just mind intensive game, isme physical to kuch hai hi nahi. तो obviously यहाँ पे तो आपको mind का stability तो होना ही चाहिए ना. Your money is at stake. If you are not stable, you know, or if you are occupied with too many things which are on your plate, so don't trade that day. Nothing is going to happen. So that, then next, you should always have an exit plan before you enter into something. In option selling, the way I said, it is a game of theta. You always take small profit from multiple trades, and that way you can increase your sample size. If at all something goes wrong, in option selling specifically, have a stop loss in place. मतलब आप देखोगे कभी कभी एक्सपायरी डे पे 2-4 रुपए के ऑप्शंस ना 400 रुपए पे जाके भी एक्सपायर होते हैं. So you don't want to get caught into that kind of a scenario. In the initial days, I was caught once or twice. That's why I'm telling you. So option selling में you need to have a strict stop loss in place. Don't hop system. Okay, keep 1 or 2 systems. Let the law of large numbers work. Take sufficient trades on that system. Have faith in it. Then the way we discussed, वो एक जो slide था, keep your risk constant in all trades. सब में अलग अलग bet मत करो. Follow a system which will suit your trading style, because your trading system is a reflection of you. मतलब जैसे बोलते, for example, if you go to a place, you know, to buy shoe or something, you like one shoe, you take it. अगर वो आपके size का नहीं है, आपको fit नहीं आता है, you will not say, right, कि मतलब मेरा पैर ही अच्छा नहीं है इसलिए fit नहीं हो रहा है. Obviously you'll go, you'll pick the next shoe. So even in trading that is the case. कोई system बहुत अच्छा हो सकता है, but it may not suit your trading style, and you need to move on and go to the next system. Psychology, trading psychology भी लोगों का change हो सकता है, but that is a very long process. And मेरा तो इतने जल्दी change नहीं हुआ है, because your psychology is built over what 20, 30, 40 years, right? तो वो इतने जल्दी change नहीं होगा, तो better कि आप trading style change कर दो, which will suit your psychology. So this is few pieces of advice from my side, which I generally.
Can you go back to the previous slide for a second?
Yeah, sure.
इसमें the keep the risk constant in all trades. That's for a particular strategy, right?
Yeah, that's for a particular strategy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is something which I follow. So don't let perfection get in the way of good enough. तो एक्चुअली ये सेशन ना हमने प्लान नहीं किया था, मतलब ये एसपीएस सर का सेशन होने वाला था ना. देन आई गॉट टू नो इट गॉट कैंसिल्ड. आई जस्ट यू नो आस्क्ड कोठारी सर, ही आल्सो मेंशन कि आप ले सकते हो तो यू कैन टेक इट. आई वाज नॉट कंप्लीटली रेडी, मतलब मुझे लगा था कि और कुछ डालना है और थोड़ा एनहांस करेंगे ये वो. देन आई थॉट कि ओके लेट इट बी, वी विल टेक इट. मतलब ये इतना जो हुआ इट वाज गुड इनफ. इफ आई वुड हैव वेटेड फॉर परफेक्शन, आई डोंट नो वो कब आता था. So the moment you feel even your strategy, if it is good enough, just go ahead, get into waters. Perfection will come in slowly. मतलब जैसे कोठारी सर या उमा जी या they are still enhancing their strategy, right? मतलब कितनी strategies आती है जाती है, फिर वो उनको enhance करते हैं. Perfection will never come in trading because it is still a game of probability. Irrespective of whatever you do, it will never be perfect. Sometimes there will be manipulation, sometimes so many other things. If you feel it is good enough, just get into waters and slowly it will start getting perfect. Don't wait for perfection. Second, better late than never. So if you realize something, some mistakes, okay, whatever has happened in the past has happened, but at least now you have realized it. Now you can start improving on it. Next, this is something I really like this quote. It's better to look back on life and say, I can't believe I did that, than to look back and say, I wish I did that. So this was something related to trading. Like the way I mentioned, when I got attracted to trading, I was thinking whether I should give it a chance or not. But then I thought I will give it, because you know what will happen if I succeed, it is definitely good. Even if I fail, I will think, okay, I gave it a try and it was not my cup of tea. Rather than, you know, not giving it a try and then for my whole life I'll have that regret ki if I would have done this, maybe something else would have happened to my life. So that's why I always take chances in whatever I think. Next, don't compare yourself to others because grass is always greener on the other side. Don't compare with those Twitter fellows or YouTube or anybody. They have put in, maybe they are fake, even if they are true, they have put in that much amount of efforts and money and whatnot. Relations might be at stake, so many things. You don't know their story. So don't compare with others. You just compare and you get better version of yourself each and every day. That's the way you will improve. Okay, because if you compare, there will be always somebody who will be better than you, and then you will never be satisfied with your performance. And there will be always somebody who is doing worse than you, right? So just compare with yourself. Don't compare it with anybody at any point in time. So this is a famous book, I think. So what it shows is, if you just become 1% better every day, okay, and if you do it for 1 year, okay, then you will be like, if you are at whatever 1x, you will be 37 times better at it in 1 year period. If you are doing 1% worse every day, you will be just at 0.3. This is just at 3% of what you are today. So this is showing a 1% decline over a 1 year time period versus a 1% improvement over a 1 year time period, how much it can change drastically.
So 1% loss versus 1% profit, huh?
Right. Yeah. I was coming to that also. So in trading, we say, so it cannot be 365 days, right? It is approximately 200 trading days, we can say, in a year. So we can assume this is for 2 years. So if you are doing this, 1% loss you are doing for 2 years, you will be left only with 3% of your capital. If you are doing a 1% profit every day for 2 years, you will have 37x. So obviously that is not possible. That's why even making 1% regularly in trading is very difficult. But it just shows that, even if you don't make that 1%, you assume it is 0.1%, you will still have 3.77x in 2 years. Even that is not bad, right? So that's about this. Next, this everyone have seen, but just I wanted to put it again. Like every time you go into a drawdown, when you have to get back to break even, it takes even longer. That's why you should be very careful. And that's where, this risk management or capital diversification and other things will come into play, because it will not let you go down. If you have only one strategy, you hit a 50% drawdown, right? Then you have to have 100% to reach break even. But at least if you have multiple strategies, you will not hit this 50% drawdown. So if you have higher capital, you can always get back easier. Maybe if it restricts only to 20% drawdown, then you just have to make 25% to get back to break even. So this strategy diversification will help you to not go into this huge drawdown. This is there. And then I think it's almost done. So yeah, this is something which I mentioned in my earlier slides also. And this is what Warren Buffett says, like, never lose your money is rule number 1. And rule number 2 is never forget rule number 1. So in trading, that's the only thing, right? We need to have money and we need to have some strategy. If money is not there, nothing else will make sense. So capital preservation should be our priority. So how do institutions think, right? They will come, they will deploy their money in safe strategies, thinking that my money should not get wiped off. Whatever comes is fine, but it should not get wiped off. How we retailers think, I want 10% profit, 20% profit, 30% profit. That's why we lose. The moment you think of profits, you are going to lose. The moment you think you want to preserve your capital, you will definitely make something out of it. So this is there. Then trading is not a get rich quick scheme. It's a process. It takes time and effort. Nothing is get rich quick. Rome wasn't built in a day, but it can be destroyed in minutes. Okay, you will slowly make 1%, 1%, but even that 100% can go off in a day. So always have that in mind. It works in nature also, like with gravity. If you want to climb a mountain, you will take so many hours. But if you fall from that mountain, within minutes, you will be there on the ground. So this works everywhere. So you should know that, like, construction is always taking time. Destruction is the most simplest thing and can happen in seconds. Even with making your image, like, you can take years to make your image. With one tweet, it can go away. So you have to be very careful. And the last thing, I don't follow it much, but it is still there. In trading, you can earn your money, but if you want to create your wealth, it can only be done through investing. Most of the people or traders I have seen, they make money and then they start investing some proportion of it, and to create a long-term, wealth through investing. So yes, that was it. That were my slides. So any questions?
Excellent presentation, that I'll say. I had not expected that it will be such a wonderful presentation. Huh? When you said that I will make this presentation. Really great presentation. And the best part is even 100% are there. Huh? Normally by the end of the time.
Still we can hear her, sir.
Madam,
I
you
have
have
one
changed our
question.
psychology.
Yes, sir.
You have changed my psychology. आपने जो golden word बोले ना, बहुत सारी चीजें इतने 40 साल मैंने सीखे, एक दिन में सीख ली.
Good.
Wonderful, really wonderful.
How many?
क्या?
नहीं sir, I was saying वो तो मुझे भी पता है, but it's very difficult. Like knowing something and then implementing it is very difficult. मतलब सबको पता है exercise करना चाहिए, but do we really do it? No, right? तो पता होना तो एक है, like we know it, but then implementing it will also take a lot of time. And that's where
कितना पता ही नहीं होता कीर्ति जी, कितना पता ही नहीं होता, प्रॉब्लम ये है. कम से कम पता तो चलाना लोगों को भी. That's good.
नहीं, मुझे वही था कि at least let people know, then slowly they will start implementing. Even I am not able to successfully implement everything, but I have started implementing. Like
good.
Ma'am, one of the things you had mentioned was journal. Do you have anything on journal?
Journal, my way of doing things is very raw. Matlab, I don't have Excel or anything. What I prefer is, so I am a very, what I can say, a little backward person. Like I feel when I write things down with my own hands on a piece of paper or in a book, the more senses get involved into doing something, the more you will recollect it. So that's my agenda. So I generally write it down in book. Every day I put, like I fill one page of the book. I have a 500 pages book. In that I write it down, like why I lost, what was the trade and things like that. So tally वगैरह करना थोड़ा difficult होता है, but then I do it manually because when I write it down, it is going through my hand, it is going through my mind, my eyes, everything. So multiple senses are getting involved. So that way I will recollect it even more. So generally people do it on Excel, but मुझे वो थोड़ा सा prefer नहीं करती हूँ. I do it on paper. So there is no set.
आपका screen sharing बंद कर दो मैडम. कीर्ति जी, आपका screen sharing बंद कर दीजिए so that we can talk to each other. Maybe
Miss Miss Kirti, it was simply an amazing presentation, and the composure, the confidence you had displayed, and your style of presentation, it was simply amazing. I was personally very happy that you didn't touch upon any strategy, because we have been having Zooms on strategies only, and this kind of subjects are very rare. The way so moderately you were taking the presentation, it was so lively that we didn't feel that we had almost sat for 3 hours, and hats off to you once again. Thank you. All the best. God bless you. Bye.
3 hours. Mr. Ramakrishnan, not only 3 hours, it is a totally spellbound. Now I request Mr. Kothari, if she is not an admin, immediately she should be given an admin charge.
No, I don't post trades. I'm not so profitable yet.
Let me confess you that I was really worried whether even our 20-30 participants will come today. But today being a holiday and then the festival, I was really worried to Kirti. But I am so amazed today that more than 180% were there when the presentation started, and still now 92 are there.
Even I
सर,
will
वो
be
जो
honest,
होली ग्रेल वाला वर्ड डाला है ना मैडम ने, होली ग्रेल वाला, उसकी वजह से सब चिपके हुए हैं.
अरे हॉलीडे के दिन भी लोग इतने आ जाएंगे. आई एम रियली सरप्राइज्ड.
Sir, I'll
होली
be
ग्रेल
honest,
की वजह से
I
सर,
was
ये
not
होली
even
ग्रेल वर्ड
planning
नहीं
to
होता तो
join
लोग नहीं
today.
आते.
अच्छा, आरडीएससी डालते तो नहीं आते थे लोग. चलिए,
वाइफ 2 बार खाने के लिए बुलाई थी, खाना नहीं खाया.
मेरे को 4 बार फोन आ गया अभी तक कि बोला क्या हुआ. चलिए, वेरी गुड. Hey, thanks a lot, Kirti ji. It was a really wonderful presentation, and you really presented very well.
Very well.
Very well. That was great.
Really super.
Yeah, we'll have one more webinar on your strategies now, because you look so confident and all those things, the way you are explaining. So we'll have one more on the various strategies. So you are basically a finance man or what? Finance guy?
No. I did my engineering. I am currently working with TCS as a solution architect. So
that's why it is.
Acha. You are basically engineer.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm also engineer only. So I thought whether you are from finance background or something like that. Okay.
No.
Great.
Finance background, but I like maths.
Yeah, it was mostly maths and statistics.
अरे उसको apply भी तो करना चाहिए ना. We all are engineer. Mostly we are engineer here. But how many are able to implement it? That's the question.
Engineering में उतना statistics का focus नहीं होता ना.
Yeah.
किसी भी ट्रेड में ना मेरा ओपिनियन है होमवर्क जरूरी है. हम लोग क्या करते हैं, कल क्या करना है नहीं सुबह डिसाइड करते हैं. जैसे मैडम बोली ना 500 पेज लिखती हैं कि डायरी लिखती क्या गलती की, कहाँ ट्रेड रॉन्ग हुआ. पहले मैं करता था, रोज शाम को स्ट्रेटेजी बनाता कल क्या करना है.
अच्छा.
जब से वो बंद किए तब से लॉस शुरू हुआ.
फिर तो चालू कर दीजिए आप.
होमवर्क इज मस्ट. मतलब मैं डायरी में लिख के रखता था आज क्या क्या करूंगा, किस स्टॉक में क्या करना है.
अच्छा.
मेरा कल का प्राइस क्या था, नेक्स्ट डे का एक्शन क्या है. बट बाद में धीरे धीरे ढीला पड़ गए, आलसी हो गए तो लॉस.
अब रिटायर हो गए ना आप, प्रॉब्लम ये है.
अभी कैजुअली ले रहे हैं, किसी सीरियसली लेना पड़ेगा.
Sir, might be we can make one Excel sheet when we have to take a trade, and there have to be mentioned like this, we have to be entered in that price, and now for my target is 2% or a 1%. When I exited, it is profitable or it is lossable. So when we have to mention that my I just took the trade when the breakout side or when the breakout or breakdown side.
Good.
Hi, Kirti.
Chalo, we'll end there now.
I have one question. Can I go with the question? I have a question. Can you go with it?
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. So you told about something called the negatively correlated thing. So systems, basically, right? if at all I take a strategy, let's say iron fly, how would I know that what is the negative correlated strategy for iron fly?
So the way I mentioned, matlab jaise iron fly is a positive. I can say it's a negative theta strategy, like it's a positive theta and a negative vega strategy na. तो उसके लिए put calendar you can have which will be a positive vega strategy. तो मतलब volatility increase होने में condor अगर fly में जो loss होगा तो that will be covered from the calendar that way. और अगर आपको correlation find out करना है तो जैसे हमने Excel पे देखा था ना, you need to have this
historical data.
हाँ, historical data की strategy A और strategy B में कितना profit या कितना loss हुआ था. Then with this formula you will get to know कि correlation कैसे है. Otherwise there is one more option कि you can go to stock mock. Stock mock में ना एक basket करके feature है कि आप 2-3 strategies बना के एक basket में डाल सकते हो and then पूरे basket का कैसे performance होता है it will show you and it will also show you कि वो कितने correlated है एक दूसरे से that way. I generally how I do it, मतलब जैसे मैं सुबह अगर इंडेक्स में मे बी बैंक निफ्टी या निफ्टी में कुछ करूंगी तो मैं शाम को क्रूड में करूंगी तो आई नो डायरेक्टली मुझे पता है कि ये लोग एक दूसरे से अनकोरिलेटेड है, राइट. सो इवन दैट इज वन वे. जैसे आप अलग अलग सेक्टर्स लोगे तो दोज आर अनकोरिलेटेड टू ईच अदर, तो दैट कैन ऑल्सो बी वन वे. तो जैसे हमने डाइवर्सिफिकेशन की बात की थी ना, दैट वे. So you can have sectoral diversification or you can have strategy wise or geography wise. You can plan.
Because you were talking about mostly, that's a diversification.
Right.
So agar you're basically working on selling side, right? Or say called.
I work on selling side.
Yeah. Triangle strategy.
The way I told ना कि right. Mostly directional मेरा direction पकड़ना या chart reading इतना अच्छा नहीं है. That's why I generally do non-directional. Direction में अभी start कर रही हूँ. Let's see. And I would like to thank Kothari sir कि you have given us a platform and I've seen so many sessions and that's why I got inspired to do it. And again this SPS session got cancelled, so I did it early. Otherwise I don't know when we would have done it. And I am also very thankful to Uma Shankar ji because I have personally interacted with him and at this age also he is still refining his strategy.